Hey guys, welcome. It is Roddy. I am joined by Cyril, Showtime, and Lambo as we're going to talk about a lot of things that happened in the past. Let's kick things off with the only Protoss here, well, at least when it comes to the players, that is Showtime. It's been 10 years since we've had a Protoss World Champion. Why has it taken 10 years for us to win another World Championship?
Well, Protoss has been kind of bad sometimes, I feel like. Sometimes also just the players maybe joking a little bit. And some of the players from the other races, like this guy here, is always, destroying all the Protoss, which makes it a bit hard to win.
Yeah, I think that sums it up pretty nicely. I think there were definitely times in the past where Protoss wasn't that strong, but I think it's also a bit of a skill issue. Like there's no standout player for the Protoss race like we had with Cyril, even though we also had other good Zerg players, obviously, that also did win the World Championship. So it can have to do with both, I think. It's a mix.
Is it all your fault, Jona?
Well, I wouldn't put it that way. But, honestly, I think the Terran players have a tendency to go after the Protoss players in tournaments as well and snipe them down with some cheeky stuff.
I mean, in recent years, for sure, yeah.
It's a combination of a lot of things going bad, but I think Protoss players have cooked up it now and they're hard to take down.
Do you mean cooked in the balance patches or the individual players?
Both, for sure.
Oh,
Both?
yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years since SOS won. Before that, we obviously had Parting winning BWI as well. Is there one Protoss that you guys think of over the last 10 years, like, he kind of should have won actually a World Championship? I'm surprised that he didn't.
Maybe Stats. I mean, he came so close against you as well. It was like 4-2 or whatever. But I feel like Stats during some years was just absolutely amazing. Like, especially 2019 when balance was pretty rough. He was winning like some tournaments and he always felt like super amazing and super good. And it's a bit of a shame he never won.
Yes, that's I would add Cess to that maybe. He also had a close couple actually finals. Well, actually, I think against Rainer was the only like World Championship. No, that wasn't World
No,
Championship.
he played Rogue in the Grand Finals of Katowice.
Yeah, I guess he had multiple Katowice finals, but yeah, I think he was one who could have done it for sure.
Or maybe that was indeed right before, that was the official World
Yeah, I think
Championship.
it was.
But the online one against Rainer was the grand finals, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that was the grand
Yeah,
finals.
that was a World Championship as well. No, I mean, Zest was good. Like, Trap had also a good year. I think with Protoss, it's always people that are good at specific stuff, but not perfect at everything. It's like, it's difficult for me to mention someone. Like, I always thought Parting was insanely quick, super tight with the execution, but then he was a little bit one-dimensional, very aggressive. Like, if you put stats and then give him the Parting micro, I thought that would be like the perfect player at a certain point in time.
I hear a lot of Korean Protosses. Where's the love to our European and American Protosses? Where's the Showtime, Hawk, Naniwa, Lil Bao, you know?
Actually.
Neep was good in 2017, right?
Yeah.
The Fist of Neep, he won Caspa Cup. I think he had a shot there.
But he lost in the group stage back then, right? In 2017? Or did he make the playoffs?
No, I think he made it. Wasn't his match against Rogue? Wasn't that too advanced? I can't
so.
really remember. And then maybe he lost afterwards. He was really good at that point. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously super difficult to win a World Championship. Even if you're like a top 8 player, you still need to beat the other 7 and then everybody else as well. So.
Last few months though, everywhere I look, I see a lot of green, as you guys often call it, on Liquipedia. There is green everywhere in every online tourney. Is that an indicator of things that we can expect this weekend, Lambo?
I think it could be, yeah. I think there's a green wave rolling over everything else recently. But I think especially Classic has looked super good coming up to this. So he is a good shot. Hero obviously is always super strong. And there's definitely some candidates where I haven't had this in the previous years where I would be like, okay, this guy is actually one of the top favorites to actually win the entire event. So I think it's different this time, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard this as well, Showtime. Like a lot of fans, instead of just the usual, the Cyril, Clem, Maru, I see a lot of fans mentioning Classic as absolute top tier favorite or see Hero win it all. Do you share that same sentiment?
I think Hero is a bit of a question mark for me right now because we haven't seen too much of him. And even when we saw him, he didn't look like super amazing. But Classic, for sure, I mean, been winning like everything, I feel like. All the online cups, RSL recently, so he's looking really, really strong. But I mean, we'll see. Like, I feel like online and offline is always a difference. Like, we saw at Dallas, like, Protoss didn't do, like, super well. Like, we got, like, what, 2 Protoss in the round of 8. And then Classic lost in the round of 4, I believe. So we'll see. Like, offline and online always different, I believe.
I mean, they did also win the GSLs, which are offline, right?
True, yeah.
Both GSLs. I think it's a bit different this time, but it can always happen that they just end up getting thrown out by like a weaker Protoss or something in a PvP. You know, that can happen, or to some SCV pulls in a TVP. Anything can happen. At this level, there's enough players, like everybody can beat everybody, in theory.
Do you fear the green wave, Fiona?
I don't know. the green wave is dangerous for sure, but at the same time, I do feel like the old favorites will prevail this time, and the green wave won't be strong enough. But they might have strong finishes, and they have a good chance to do well this time for sure. A lot of pros players. I'm still feeling like the non-greens.
All right, I love it. I know you guys have been around forever. You've been playing the game, you've been watching the game. It feels special when it's the week of a World Championship. Thinking back of some of those other World Championships, not necessarily only the one that SOS won, what are some of the ones that truly stood out for you, where you're like, man, I still think back quite often of that specific World Championship?
For me personally, I'm just gonna start this off because I know some others might have the same answer. It's the one that Jonah won because it's the only one that I actually qualified for back when I was still BlizzCon. And it was the first time a foreigner won. The entire crowd went crazy when he won, every single map that he won. I mean, I saw him in between the games, in between the series. He looked not completely calm and collected, but still completely zoned in. It was pretty sick to see. And then if I had to say a second one, I like the one that Bjan won. I thought the stage was sick with the first person view and everything. I think that one was amazing too.
I love that you mentioned that because that is actually one of my favorite moments. Of course, watching Yona win was fantastic. I remember that BlizzCon arena, left side beyond, right side dark, the other way, and then you had really people like sitting on the side of their player as well. And like, yeah, you watched in the center for the regular observer view, but that first person view of the guys, and they were both playing at a really high level back then. I thought 2016 was a remarkable one.
Yeah, the stage was also really sick because he had like this transforming map kind of thing going on. Because I was there as well, it was like really cool for sure. I would say for me, definitely his win as well up there, and also Oliveira's Katowice win. And that one was beautiful, honestly. Like, I don't know, it was just like such a dream run for him, and yeah, just amazing to see.
Yeah, Oliveira's crying speech was very, very memorable for me. I always liked the BlizzCons very much. I'm a little bit sad I didn't get ever chance to play in like the very unique stage setups. I feel like it was kind of the standard stage setups where I always played, but yeah, there's some memorable ones for sure there.
You guys remember the first World Championship of StarCraft that you ever tuned in for, like actively watched?
I don't personally. The first one that jumps to my mind is, I think it was SOS versus Live, maybe, was that a final?
Yeah, that was definitely a final.
That was the last one of Wings, maybe? I think that's the first one I remember.
I think that was Heart of the Swarm already.
Was it Heart of the Swarm?
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah, SOS won both in Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah. Wings only had 2012 BlizzCon or BWI with parting, and then I think 2013 was already Heart of the Swarm.
I see.
You also had the final against Jadon, right? SOS? Or was it Jadon?
No, I think SOS. Actually, it may have been Jadon, because Jadon beat Deer with the burrowed zerglings back then, and he set up the trap.
I do remember that too, actually.
Yeah. So, and in between that, we had the MMA versus Live. That was 2014, and then 2015.
Wasn't the very first World Championship? It was like a Chinese player in the finals.
Yeah, was it Loner? Is that his name? Yeah, but that was not really an official World Championship because we didn't really have qualifiers for it. It was more like, hey, StarCraft 2 just came out, everybody loves it, let's invite 16 guys. You know, Bang got invited, guys.
I remember that one still. I remember the finals. They also met some Metalopolis there.
Yeah, was TVP finals?
I don't think it was TVP, was it?
I wasn't there in
Maybe
2010.
I don't remember that well.
I can't remember at all.
I didn't even have StarCraft back then.
Yeah, I think 2011 was already a bit more legit, where they like let people qualify, and then 2012 was the first big one where we had all the regional qualifiers, and everybody went to China back then for the end of the year, with Parting winning the all. Which I think is a very cool memory as well, even though that event had its flaws, but I think it was awesome. All right, so we've talked a little bit about the previous champs, we've talked a little bit about the green wave, but there are often a lot of other things that people talk about, and lately I hear a lot of talk about Cyclones. Mech, they're back on the menu, Terrans love it. Is it a bug? Is this the way the game was meant to be? Lambo, do we fear the Cyclones?
I mean, I do fear the Cyclones. I can say this openly here because Gabe's not next to me, but I think a lot of Terran players are actually going to bust out the Cyclones once or twice. And it is very strong, and it's most certainly a bug. Like, it should have been fixed a long time ago. I think they were unable to fix it, and yeah, we have to suck it up now. It's not great.
Any worries about Cyclones for you, Showtime, as a Protoss?
Not too much, to be honest. I mean, as a Protoss, it's not as critical. I've had some games against people making Mech and Cyclone, but it should be doable, you know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much of it we will see. I don't necessarily think it's gonna be like every game at all, but it's gonna be some of that mix-up for sure. It's gonna be hard to deal with, there's no question about that, but I feel like I've only been practicing against it or thinking about it actively for like the last 2-3 weeks, because I kind of figured out it would probably get fixed before that, but then I kind of realized that it's not gonna get fixed, so you need to start working for it, and it's very doable, but it's hard.
All right, before we officially wrap it up, I'd like to ask you guys, when you get ready for a week like this, do you guys ever look back at certain performances of players? You already mentioned Oliveira's magical round. Does any of those champions of the past inspire you to get ready for a week like this?
For me personally, not really. I like watching back at tournaments to gain motivation, but if I'm right in front of a tournament, I don't really lack any motivation. Like I can practice 24/7 already when I'm so close to a tournament. So I have these moments, but I don't have them the week leading up to a tournament, rather after a tournament or when there's some downtime.
Yeah, I feel like I'm similar. I wouldn't say I get motivated specifically through it, like the weeks before. Hero last year, he was like his performance was so good that it kind of felt like the first time he's like, actually a Protoss could win this, you know. So I feel like this was pretty motivating, but yeah, it's not so much recently for me.
Yeah, no, not really. I don't really watch.
You're not going back to that feeling of 2018, Jona?
No, not really. I don't. Well, I do watch back some old matches, not for nostalgia feeling and that, but not really looking for motivation or anything there. It's just more going back to the moment, you know.
How often did you watch back your 2018 finals, would you say, approximately?
The whole. I mean, I never watched like the whole video.
No, not the whole thing. How
like-
often do you look it up?
Probably like twice.
Twice only?
Twice only? That's crazy. I would do way more often. I think I watch my EPS win more often.
All right, and on that note, I think we are going to wrap it up. We hope you guys enjoyed this little trip down memory lane, and I hope that you obviously have an amazing week full of fantastic StarCraft here at the Esports World Cup. Thank you, guys.
But you know, Cyril could lose many more and still close this out.
I would describe my group stage performance flawless, as that what it was. But at the same time, some of the games were very close.
Well, I'm feeling confident going into the playoffs, but I'm going to have to step it up.
이 부분에서 일단 부담감은 없고요. 10년 만에 그 우승이라는 타이틀이 정말 탐나는 상황입니다. 이번에 월드 챔피언 제 거라고 봅니다.
우승 화이팅!
Hello Hello and welcome to day number 3 of the Esports World Cup StarCraft 2 Championship. We are here in the STC Arena and we are ready to find out which 2 players are going to get eliminated here in day number 3. My name is FearDragon and I'm joined here by the lovely Demu as well as Steadfast. Demu, how you doing today? You're looking as fly as ever.
You know, I'm great, Ravi. It's a good day to be here. I feel that we've been a little bit unlucky here on the B stream with some of the matches, but today things get real. I mean, this is advancing to the playoffs for these guys, and that gives you another chance entirely. It's do or die right now, and the opponents today for these guys, like Shin Solar, Showtime, Showtime Classic, it's not easy at all. These are some of the very best of the best.
No, you're absolutely right, and as you were saying, and Dave, we do know that these players that are going to actually be facing off today are not only at elimination point, where if they lose, they are out of the event, but as Demu was saying, it's also going to be a qualifying match.
Yeah, it is going to be a qualifying match. This is huge in so many ways for the players. One, it's obviously going to be a massive prize pool boost for the individual players. Obviously, we're going to take a look at what happened yesterday with Zaun eliminating Beyond. Eliminations are sad, and we're going to have those today. But like you said, we're going to the playoffs today. We're going to the promised land. And not only is playoffs a huge bump in prize pool, it is also those EWC points secured for their teams. We've got Weibo Gaming, their only representative here, in the form of Shin, looking to make it through. We've got Solar and Rogue for Falcons. No guarantee Rogue makes it through. Kier's going to be a tough opponent for him. So if Solar can make it through, that is going to be a huge boon for both of these teams. Massive stuff on the line, of course. Showtime, Classic, they're both going to be representing their teams in a big way, and Showtime specifically as that sole representative for Sentinels. That is going to be a huge, huge deal. So much on the line here on the B stream today. And I got to say, it's a nice juxtaposition to the first 2 days where we're just basically sending players home. I much rather would see them go on to that big stage.
It is going to be a big stage for all these players, Demu, and as we are looking again at more of these matches that have been happening yesterday, all the highlights, including some from this stream, man, you see a lot of the emotion, a lot of the stuff that's been hitting. Any big moments for you from the last couple of days, Demu?
I mean, there's actually been a few. Like, Serral against Classic was like, okay, potentially the best Protoss right now against the best, the GOAT in my eyes. And we all thought, hey, it's going to be close. And the games were close, but the end result wasn't. I also think Maru versus Reynor, super damn cool going to a 5-game series, because normally you get Maru show up against these foreign Zergs and stuff, and it's like, is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? And then it's just like 4-0 stomp against him, especially against Serral. But
yeah,
yesterday he finally did it. And I think that's a big, big hurdle for him, because Maru, or rather Reynor, is the kind of guy that's exceedingly fast, and he kept up with him. I know a lot of people talk about Cyclones, but in that final game he went back to the bio, clinched it out with the bio. Yeah, I mean, there was lots of very good series yesterday.
Lots of great series, lots of long series as well. And we're going to get to see how things are going to be looking today, because we do actually have a pretty nice lineup of matches today. As I think my 2 lovely desk folks were here, we did mention that there were some pretty great matches that were coming on up. But remember that with every single one of these eliminations, players do end up having their precious keys crushed under the force of the forcinator. I forget actually what it's called, but
I like the
forcinator.
Dude, let's go with that. The forcinator sounds awesome.
And I mean, what better representative for a forcinator than Showtime? And I love Showtime's reaction to this, by the way, because he was so shy about it.
But look at this. Look at this. Boom. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what happened?
I mean, honestly, the key crushing this year is so good. Like, the fact that they actually do demolish the key is much stronger in my heart. So Gabe walking out from that play-in, demolishing a Stray around Lambo, it was great. Is that Trigger?
Yeah, that was Trigger's name, and that was, being crushed right there. That is another really heartbreaking one, but it really does just set things in. I actually really wonder what's going through the heads of the players, because for them, it must just be a realization moment of like, yeah, I did in fact not just like eliminate you. I am going to just sit here for 10, 15 seconds and just soak in the fact that I have killed your run.
It's a bit like StarCraft 2 meets Mortal Kombat, you know, just like fatality.
Finish him.
Yeah, it's amazing to see.
Yeah, in Mortal Kombat, it's so much more visceral. But like, you saw Shin right there. He was like staring down at it, like little smile on his face. He's like,
it's literally the key. Your soul is mine.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's pretty brutal. And as we were saying, these players that are going to be eliminated today are going to be going out. But the players that make it to the playoffs are going to be seeded into that single elimination 8-player bracket. No more shenanigans, no more like Group A, Group B. It's just one bracket, 8 players, 1 champion that's going to be walking away from this. And Demu, do you have any kind of guesses with how things have been shaping up so far? Like, where is like your heart lying with who is likely to win right now?
Between these two, honestly.
Or in the tournament, sorry.
Oh, in the entire tournament?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's looked absolutely flawless. I mean, you could say Serral has met the expectations of everybody in that he hasn't dropped a map, right? And the fact that he dispatched Classic, which in my head was definitely going to be one of his biggest opponents. The other guys like Clem can do it. Obviously, we saw that last year with the whole 5-0 in the final and beating him earlier as well. I think Raynor has shown up, even though he lost to Maru. The games against the Cyclones and stuff, he didn't get outplayed. It really felt a very close series. So I still have Serral, Giga at the top. Clem is still scary, but Solar absolutely pushed him to the limit.
Yeah. Steadfast, what are your thoughts?
on the tournament as a whole?
On the tournament as a whole, who you think you're leaning toward, or if you just think that Demu is absolutely wrong on something?
No. I think he makes some really good points, and the only thing I would say maybe that I would find fault with is that Serral just looked even more dominant than we were expecting, because going into it, there were some huge question marks, and I really thought Classic was going to be maybe this Achilles heel, but Serral really stepped up in that match versus Classic, and it's going to be interesting to see if they do play again in the playoffs. Will Classic answer that? Because that's something to look for. But I do want to point out Hero. He did have his trademark kind of craziness where he was really ahead and some situations kind of slipped away from him. But he also had one game against Cure, the one that he lost, where he was so dead. So dead. Like, we were watching, we're like, okay, he's down 50 army supply. Like, he is turbo dead. Down in workers, like, no chance at all. And he claws back, and we look away for 20 seconds. We look back, and we're like, the supplies are even, guys. What happened? And he did eventually lose that game, but it was just one of those things where it's like, that might be the hero we were looking for. I
think it's also worth noting the games that we're casting today here on the B stream are all the 9th to 12th places. So these guys, if you lose, it's $22,500.
This is a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. It's $30,000 for winning this match, and the potential for so much more for these guys. So a lot on the line. And, you know, Steadfast talked about it, club points as well. I know Falcons want to do really well. They've got two guys here in the lower bracket, such as Rogue and Solar, and that's a big deal for Falcons. Falcons were the winner last year of the whole club championship, so they are looking to do well.
And not only that, I mean, these matches are also going to be worth $7,500 of just these single best of fives alone. Potentially more, but we'll take a look at what these matches are that we've been talking about so much for, because we have two best of fives coming your way today. It is going to be two mirror matchups, but still mirror matchups that honestly look quite good. Solar versus Shin and Showtime versus Classic. Steadfast, what are your thoughts on that first match?
Well, Solar versus Shin, I got myself a little bit of a hot take on this one by Dr. Suleiman Al-Habib. Well, I'm going to say, and this might even be a cheap hot take, I'm going to say no game goes past the 7-minute and 30-second mark in this entire ZVZ.
That's a big one. I mean, Ben, these two players have actually been playing against each other in a bunch of other random matches recently, including, I think you mentioned to me earlier, DreamHack Dallas round of 4.
Random matches, you know, like just a round of 4. And
just round of 4, just the semis. How are you feeling about that hot take?
I mean, it's very close between these guys, like historically. Like, as far as Zergs go, you get the Europeans that, you know, they swear by their style. The Koreans, especially Solar, he swears by his style. But it's got to be said, the Koreans are like Wild West when it comes to ZVZ. And these guys, to a T, show that. So I understand your prediction of the 7.5 minutes. I'm not sure if that's going to come true, because I do think there's at least a chance for these games to go on. But Shin is a guy that absolutely can switch to mutas at any point in multiple matches, or matchups rather. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of headbutting because I think of these guys stylistically, they do not go with the finesse style of Zerg. It is all about having so much Zerg. Like they truly channel that idea. And there's going to be so many Roaches and Ravagers absolutely everywhere. And yeah, it's going to be utter chaos.
Yeah, and I think that is going to be an exciting match. I think that's why I think we unanimously agree this is going to be a match of the day. This is such an exciting match to see between these two Korean players to see who's going to be advancing on out. Steadfast, I know that you also, as a Zerg player, have a lot of thoughts, especially about, you know, the differences of the nuances of ZVZ, especially between the different regions. How are you feeling about that coming in?
Well, I have maybe another actually hot take that I just kind of thought of right now. Not going to do that, but the whole thing. But you know, Dr. Suleiman, he can enjoy this one too on the house. I think the Koreans are right. I think the Europeans are wrong about ZVZ. That is kind of signified with these two guys, these two amazing players who are so good at the mind games. They are unbelievably difficult to predict in a matchup where you can go so hard in one way or another, one direction or another. Mind games almost trump everything. And execution, of course, is so important. But being able to just fool your opponent with everything they do is so, so cool. Ben, you were about to...
I'm just hoping that all the European Zergs look back at this broadcast. They're like, Steadfast? What do you want about? And then the winner of this goes up against Cyril in the next round. It's like, Steadfast? They all look at you.
What are you on about?
And it's like, okay, guys, I was wrong. Like, you know, it's...
I feel like it's now worth mentioning that there was an alternate universe where Lambo was also going to be on this desk alongside Steadfast as he gave that take. And I really wish I could have seen that world where Steadfast is saying, like, I think the European Zergs are wrong, and Lambo's just standing next to him.
He did say it was a hot take, to be fair.
Yeah,
So
yes.
Controversial Canadian over here. You know, you gotta have one of them.
Yeah, that's very fair. Now, coming into this, I mean, we've talked a little bit about what we're expecting. I know Steadfast, you're talking about how long the games and stuff are going to be going. Who is the favorite coming into this one, Dave?
That is such a difficult question because it really, truly comes down to who is feeling it that day, who is on their game. A lot of them, we had a very clear favorite, you know? No disrespect to some of the players that got eliminated, but like there's a reason that they are not here today. It's because the other players just outplayed them. But this one, these guys have beaten each other so often. Their match statistics are so close. It could legitimately be decided by a sneeze, you know? Like it is so razor's edge between the two of them. As with that being said, I feel like Solar is going to want that revenge from their last meeting at DreamHack Dallas where he was eliminated.
And guys, we're going to get right into the game. Was it not Solar that won DreamHack Dallas and Shin won the revival? Or is
yes, no, you're right. I have that completely backwards. Yeah, Shin's going to want the revenge. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to that point, that's what we're looking at, but we'll get into it right now because we've got something very important shaping up. Spawning up in the top right for Falcons, it is Solar.
And you are absolutely correct, Steadfast, because over here, bottom left-hand side, representing Weeboo Gaming, it is Shin with a 12 pool.
And not just any 12 pool. This is going to be a 12 pool with gas and a hatch. This is what we call mind games. Starting the series off with some shenanigans. So, 12 pool into expand, not that crazy. 12 pool into expand with gas. This could be a couple things. This could be Banelings, this could be Speedlings. My money's on the Banelings. This is going to be very unexpected, and it's going to be up to Solar to defend perfectly. We have a Queen already starting up. Okay, this makes me think... Speed,
most likely. I was with you, because I did think, okay, it was initially 2 on gas. It wasn't like the biggest commitment. Now it's a big commitment. He's bypassing that first Overlord as well. Now, this isn't like a guaranteed win or anything. You can hold this with drones, but Solar is going to have to be so on point, not just for the first wave, but this is going to be a follow-up wave afterwards because Shin is putting a lot of eggs in that basket.
He absolutely is, and what Shin is doing right here, he is representing a normal 12-pool macro play. And then behind it, he is going to stockpile Lings. That is going to be his goal. We do see, starting off right here, it is going to be, one drone getting picked off. this is a pretty good set of fights here for Shin. If we take a look at the battle report after this one concludes, because it's actually not done yet, this is a little bit weird. I feel bad because I think we were out of or I wasn't paying attention right away. This might have actually been a 13 or a 14 pool just looking at things. We'll take a look at it afterwards. But regardless, the whole methodology behind this game plan is going to be, you've defended my initial pressure. Now, you are going to drone because I'm droning. This was just a pressure. But suddenly, there is going to be a massive swell of Lings. Will Solar be able to get a wall down at the front and be able to defend against this massive, massive commitment?
It's quite important that that last Ling died before speed was shown, by the way. Now, Solar has droned up quite significantly, and he's still adding on a few drones, but still, does he have enough Lings? He's come over to the other side of the map, sees a couple of queens here, and he's like, you know what, this looks relatively normal. Oh, wait a minute, this is not normal at all. So I'm very curious what he's doing back at home. I'm looking at the webcams. He looks pretty calm so far, bringing down some extra drones as well, trying to make that wall on the ramp, and that Baneling Nest not going to be done in time, but that wall is actually quite hard to deal with.
That it is. Nice little drone pull and hold position here, but the concave of Lings is much better for Shin. The drones now joining in to actually fight. Good hold position micro, but Shin has a lot of Lings here. The Baneling Nest was bait, and he didn't fall for it. Drones are not going to be able to protect the queens initially. One queen goes down, second one will fall, but is there going to be enough Lings to hold for Solar? It looks like for now the answer is yes. Solar was building quite a few Lings initially, and that has given him just enough buffer to hold. And he is so far up in drones. Now the Baneling Nest completes. Excellent defense for Solar.
And look at Shin's face. You can see that it's like, oh no, it did not work out at all, did it? And no, rightly so. I think Solar's defense here was pretty damn good. He was skirting a fine line there on the balance of eco. And look, Shin, he knows it. GG. The hot take so far, the prophecy is true from our dear Steadfast.
Well, I mean, that one was a bit of a freebie, if I'm being honest.
He's smiling. And I mean, like, I respect the play. I think it's always cool to enter a best of 5 when you know you've got multiple lifelines with something a bit erratic.
Yeah.
And that always shows your opponent, hey man, I'm willing to do anything here. Like, if I can get a cheeky win out of this, but Solar, very, very solid. And Solar, in a lot of ways, is the punching bag Zerg, that he's great at taking a hit and bouncing back. But you can see Ragnarok here, that's like, there's going to be a lot of regret going on there, things he could have done different, but overall, Solar just handled that very, very well.
Oh, he handled that perfectly.
You're right with the whole positioning drones. He positioned 3. I could see the individual clicks on that ramp in front of the queens and then held position them, which made it so much harder to engage them. And Shin did a great job of trying to focus fire them down individually, but it was just enough time to get extra Lings out. And that was an all or nothing strategy out of Shin. And the fact that he had Banelings following up there did Solar and double the eco, basically. Nice start to the series.
I actually want to revise and edit the first draft of what I said there about the Baneling Nest being bait. That Baneling Nest was so genius in so many ways. 1, it acts as a timer. 2, it actually breaks down the surface area those Lings can get. And 3, it puts like a mental pressure on Shin to go for it. And it also, of course, could act as a bait. If Shin goes after the Baneling Nest, those queens are free firing, the Lings are going to be getting good value. Just overall, magnificent decision-making under the gun from Solar right there. I'm going to be very interested to see if Shin, that might put him off cheesing that way for the rest of the series at this point. As we have spawning down in the bottom left for Weibo Gaming, it is Shin.
And looking calm and focused and very ready. Spawning over in the top right-hand side as our Red Zerg, hailing for Team Falcons, it is Solar. Shin's build was a little bit funny, by the way. Like, he waited for the Overlord at 14 out of 14. So, not a hatch first, then with the next 3 drones coming, then the spawning pool. So, definitely not the normal, the regular, where it's like, okay, is it an early pool? Yes, it is, but not that early. So again, looking to do something a little bit cheeky here. And I'm very curious about what Shin's got planned, because of the 2, I would say that Solar is the more orthodox Zerg, but he's not one of those guys that won't do any early cheese shenanigans. So maybe thinking like, hey, I cheesed you in that first game. Maybe I'll do some like anti-cheese build because this is very good against those very early pools. But again, it could be just one of those safety things. But I hope Shin isn't in his own head at this point.
I don't think he is. I think this is actually him saying, I think you might just 12 pool drone pull me back. So I'm just looking to get a free win from that. It's not going to be a saving larva, 16 pool, something into that. What this is actually going to be is something Katz is a massive fan of. That is a hatch in the wall. What this enables you to do is a few things. One, you get a lot of extra larva with this, which means you can drone like crazy. Two, your wall is now partially done. And this is a ley lines special. He's only going to need one structure for that. Just a very, very neat way to go about this. And of course, the Lings, maybe they find a little bit of damage. At the very least, you should be able to get a good scout. It's a neat little way to approach it and can get you some really powerful eco behind it. We'll have to see if this gets any damage, but I do like the approach from Shin. It's not deviating away from crazy, which is cool.
It isn't. It's just I look at the production tab and I see all the things lining up and it's like you're foregoing map control entirely.
Yes.
So this isn't a game where you're planning on what happens in the next minute or two. You got to be thinking about what's happening several minutes down the line because he is not going to be able to get a third very quickly against speedlings, which are going to have control. Granted, Solar won't know exactly what's going on behind this, but he's good enough of a Zerg to know that that's quite a commitment to getting that third hatch up in the front like that.
It is quite a commitment, and you do forego the map control, like you were saying, but you also get something very nice, which is the total denial of your opponent's scout. There could be a speedling all in behind this. There could be some kind of crazy fast Evo with like +1 melee, +1 carapace. A lot of weirdness that could come, and Solar's going to have to respect that a little bit. I do like Solar using those two queens to go after the Overlord. Of course, Shin did pre-build an extra Overlord, but cuts into his droning a little bit and really makes it uncomfortable if Solar were to be the one to all-in, which we're not going to see an all-in. This is just a small Ling pressure, but it's going to maybe force a little bit of a reaction. The main thing, though, to take away from this is Solar hasn't fully chomped down on the bit, and there's still just so much StarCraft to play in the ZVZ.
I think it's just going to be a +1 missile timing from Shin, Like the way that things are going here, like obviously he's got this really nice wall at the front. He skipped Ling speed entirely. It's going to be multiple gases coming down as well. I can't see it being anything but that. So yeah, +1 missile does start here, which is cool by him, but you can see that Solar's not far behind.
Ooh.
Drone count-wise, Shin has pulled a little bit of a lead, but he has far more to gather from here with that third base finishing up right now.
Yes, the interesting thing, though, that I was oohing about right there is Solar has gone for Carapace. He initially started up the +1 missile. He was close to his opponent's Evo train, but you saw that it was not wiggling, which means that the upgrade cannot have started yet. So he started +1 missile, said, wait a minute, I can go Carapace first, which will mean that the +1 missile is now countered.
Ooh.
Very neat.
Look at that production tab, Mutalisks. Now, there is an Overlord entering the main base, but that is not where the Spire is. But getting to see that the lair is done as early, Shin is absolutely trying to trick his opponent here. So damn hard. Now he's going for a third base. Can he get it up? Solar absolutely in position here. Should be able to get that drone by the skin of his teeth. Yes, he does do that. There was no queen available for the transfusion. And this is enough roaches that you have to respect it. He's also going into speed afterwards. Is he? Oh, he sees that Spire. That is huge.
Massive scout there. This is something Bly used to love doing in all of his ZVZs. Not necessarily the fast third hatch in the wall, but that two-base Roach and Spire play, and you can kind of oscillate through. I think that's a really cool way to play. Of course, we are going to see the faster the faster Roach speed. Actually, hang on. Did he scout the Roach Warren? Is my question. Did Solar scout that Roach Warren at all?
He scouted the Roaches at the front because they
of course, duh.
They dealt with the Lings and stuff, managed to get up the third base.
Wonder if he saw it wiggling, though, for the upgrade. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like right now, the fact that he canceled it and then started it again, or in fact, I mean, this is just such a weird game. So Solar, with that earlier third, has managed to get the drone lead, and he's got confirmation that the Spire was not cancelled here. Right now, if I was in Shin's shoes, I'd be sweating. I'd be thinking like, okay, how am I going to eke an advantage out of this? Yes, I've got an extra macro hatch, which is cool, but my opponent has scouted absolutely everything. So is this just going to be like 4 mutas to hunt down overlords, do a little bit of harass, force out some Hydralisks or extra queens? Because right now I feel that Solar is ticking all the right boxes here with what he's going for.
Yeah, no, I definitely like how Solar is playing this one out. Very quick Lurker Den after going into the Hydras. Yeah, this is just going to be a very, very small commitment into those mutas. We are going to see that it will be just, yeah, Roaches out of Shin for a while. Nice little link run by there from Solar, getting a great scout. And, of course, seeing the, well, of course, picking off those 2 drones there. The map control that the mutas afford and cleaning up the overlords is obviously quite nice, but the tech advantage for Solar is very significant. And I mean, my prediction is already blown out of the water because we are fastly approaching 7:30, and there is no way this game is going to end anytime soon because we've got an infestation pit coming in. Solar's looking to hive.
And look at what Shin's doing. I don't think he plans on making this a really long game against what he's going up against. He's planning on getting Banelings. Even though his muta count isn't high, getting Banelings to deal with the Hydras is definitely going to be good. But look at that, 8 Ravagers on the way. That's a lot of gas. He is on 6 gases, taking a 4th base right now, so he is leapfrogging ahead in the expansion count. But Solar, he's in a relatively comfortable spot right now. He's not really taking any eco damage, and his upgrades, he's absolutely catching up.
Yeah, and the +2 missile versus 1-1 is nice, but those lurkers being built as early as they are, a lot of times you will wait to build those lurkers. The fact that he's built them so early is incredibly good. Shin needs to catch his opponent out of position. He needs to find a spot where those lurkers are not burrowed, but they are burrowed up at the 30. He's going to go in anyways. The Spore Crawler will come through, blind firing the Biles. Now he sees where one of the lurkers is. It does unburrow. Second one in a lot of trouble, but it will get protected by the Roaches. This is looking very good for Solar on paper. He just needs to make sure he doesn't get too far away from those lurkers, but he's actually hunting down some of the Ravagers, which will protect the lurkers by preventing those corrosive Biles, and Solar swats that attack away. Now he is just so far ahead. Hive just completed. He's going to be able to go straight into the lurker upgrades. This is an amazing advantage here for Solar.
It's a massive advantage. Look at that army from Solar. Like, that packs a punch. Like, the Roaches definitely are one of the most efficient units in these battles, but having that backline of Hydras, definitely key. And you see it in the bottom tab over there. Way more supply for Solar, a stronger fighting army, better techs on the way as well. I like the timing out of Shin because it was as +2 hit, so we did have an advantage in that regard, but everything else, he's in a lot of trouble.
That he is. Yeah, no, can we take a look at the structures tab for Shin right there? Yeah, no Hydralisk Den. This is very likely going to be, I build some Vipers, I try and yoink your lurkers out of the ground, and I try and find an opening, and that is going to be something that is going to be very difficult to do. Lurkers are king versus ground units right here. We do see a little bit of that happening right here with the Lurkers not being in position, but Solar is so mobile with the rest of his army, and he can just kind of go back to the Lurkers as needed. As long as he's got that anchor point, it is so difficult for Shin to find an opening.
And also, those Lurkers have the range ability now. I mean, like, this 4th base is exposed to Ravager Fire, but you can't keep that up all the time. And Solar, he's not too fussed about losing these Roaches. If he can trade them efficiently and trade out for more Hydras behind this, that'd be great. But I tell you what, Shin is getting a good catch on all of this. And Solar feeling like, okay, this isn't exactly how I wanted to lose all those Roaches, you know, being chased across the map. But it does open up that far right side. And now you see Solar is moving down for most likely a bit of a counterattack.
I really like that right there. He is sacking out the Roaches. He's building more, but he's trying to surmise, I think, whether his opponent is actually going for lurkers himself. And if he's not, he's like, yeah, this is fine. I'm so far ahead in tech. I'm going to continue to get stuff. Now he's got Adaptive Talons coming through. That's going to make those lurkers even more difficult to punish. Finally, a Hydralisk Den coming in for Shin, but this is unbelievably late in terms of the tech. Both players are on 4 bases. We've got the high-yield gas. I'm sure that's going to be coming along very, very soon for Solar if he hasn't already mined it out himself. And, I mean, this is Oh, a little bit of a concave coming in for Solar. Actually, if he can catch all these roaches, this is amazing for Solar.
How many lurkers are on the field right now? I feel that count's been growing a lot. 6, I mean, it's not overwhelming just yet, but if they were to partake in any of these fights, but who's sandwiching who? We've got a north side flank here for Shin, and those bios do connect, but now the lurkers with all those upgrades are coming in. And Solar, he is still maxed out. He's losing units, yes, but his army is packing so much more tech. And look at those lurkers. He feels he can just run on in there. And I mean, that was maybe a little bit too ballsy, but it does look like he is taking the victory on the battlefield right now, and there is just not enough Shin.
Not even close. The tech advantage that those lurkers afford is unbelievable. There's so few of them on the field, and they just dominate every fight. If he can snipe the Overseers, that'd be amazing. Not going to be doing it just yet. They're so low on HP. Would really like to see that, but he doesn't even need it. Solar is just going to easily push through there with those lurkers and now finds himself up 2-0. Shin, big smile on his face, but he's got to be... That's more of like, well, that's ZVZ, isn't it?
I mean, he is going for weird and wacky stuff, right?
Yes.
Like that third hatch kind of thing. I like the idea, but Solar's reaction, like very often when somebody does something weird against you, the very normal and best reaction against it is just to do whatever you were doing anyway. Because that kind of thing, what did Solar do? He didn't do anything aggressive or crazy. It was just like, okay, I'll get link speed, I'll get map control. This means I can get an earlier third than you. I'll scout, I'll play like appropriate. And he was ahead. Like, he was just ahead. I mean, there was decisions that Shin made afterwards, such as, I'm going to go Roach, +1 speed, get some mutas. The mutas got scouted, though, like, even when the spy was halfway done, which was very unfortunate. I wonder if he'd have lent way more into mutas if that wasn't the case, because that could have been a bit of a window there. But then the mutas, small commitment, did a huge +2 timing, didn't work out. It was a lot of trying to catch Solar off guard, but Solar, he had none of it. He was having none of it at all.
He was so locked in that game, and it's funny, if you looked at the player cams coming out of it, you would have thought Shin won that game. Solar was stone-faced. He is so focused right now.
Well, he knows it's not over yet.
Yes.
Because, you know, starting off the series, you both have to win 3 games. And I mean, Shin still is in this. 2-0 down, no lifelines left, maybe no more weird shenanigans from him. And it does look like that thus far within the first 20 seconds, given that he's going for a far more normal build. Spawning over in the top left-hand side here, representing Falcons, 2-0 up, it is Solar.
And his opponent, tournament life on the line, down to his last life. It is Weibo Gaming's Shin. It is quite difficult to remain unfazed, but these guys are pros. They have been here before. Shin is a player in a weird way, we've always kind of overlooked Shin as he gets like 7 top 8s, top 4s, almost consecutively at major tournaments. And we're like, well, I still don't know if Shin can make it through. But he has absolutely earned the respect and the right to be here. He's been here before. So he can absolutely come back. But Solar, with 3 opportunities, 3 match points in a row, is going to be such a dangerous opponent, especially in this unpredictable ZVZ.
And you got to remember, this is group stage Solar we're talking about. Like,
yeah.
Group stage Solar is just a different beast entirely. He was 2-2 against Clem, arguably the best TVZ on the planet for like the last year or so. So doing that in that matchup, and then being 2-0 against Shin, I'll tell you what, Solar has came to show off all that he's been prepping in that lab over the last few months here for this tournament, and it shows, it really does.
And it's super funny because stylistically, what I was alluding to beforehand, the Korean style of ZVZ, that very, very unpredictable, a lot of 2 gas, Roach Warren plays, a lot of very small minutia where you leave 1 drone on gas extra. You can see 2 of 3 right there. That is the standard way of playing. Lambo came up with a genius build once upon a time where he left 1 extra drone on that gas and did this like 7 Roachling Bane push off 1 gas. I was so excited when I saw it. It was so cool. But the fact that Solar is basically just playing standard, I would say European ZVZ, it's like he heard me. The Europeans like bribed him and were like, you gotta, Steadfast is gonna say something stupid on the broadcast. You gotta prove him wrong by playing our style. It's so unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, of all the Korean Zergs that we've ever had, in the history of StarCraft 2, Solar is the one that is most close with them. He speaks very good English. There's a lot of banter that goes on back and forth, but there is one player that he's always had the utmost respect for, which is Serral. And watching Serral play any matchup, it really feels like you're watching somebody that's like, oh, that makes 100% sense why he did that. And it's like, he makes it look so easy, so simple. The way that Solar's playing in the series so far, he's not skipping a beat. It really feels like he is locked in right now, making all the correct moves, the correct adjustments. Sometimes it requires no adjustment at all, just unfazed entirely.
Yes, and speaking of that unpredictability right there, we have Solar switching it up, saying, okay, now that I've baited him into saying this, now we put something a little bit weird into the zeitgeist. Did believe that was that quick Evo was spotted, but this is something that has kind of become a little bit more common in the Korean ZVZ meta. And that is a very fast Evo chamber hidden, sometimes in the main, sometimes in the natural. You don't want to show it right away, but that can be so many things. It can be melee, it can be carapace, but what has become recently quite popular is the +1 missile. And it looks like it could be some kind of weird Ling aggression, some kind of a very aggressive all-in, but it opens up so many potential opportunities.
It absolutely does. I mean, you have to respect it and fear it, the way that Zerg macro works. They can pop out multiple units of the same. It's not as if they're working with one barracks. Those hatcheries can produce absolutely anything. And here, they are both scouting very nicely. And honestly, as far as all the upgrades go and things they're going for, I think Shin isn't going to be too far behind in that upgrade once that Evo does finish. He's got his Roach Warren completing, Lair on the way as well. They're both neck and neck on the drones. This, besides in the order in which they've done it, this is the first proper ZVZ between these guys without any kind of cheesy shenanigans. It's a mirror match here.
It is. And this is super, super interesting too, because we saw that layer started up just before the Ling got in, which means that can either be a fake layer or it can be a completely true layer. Now, in this case, we are going to be seeing it being a real layer, but Shin can't know that. He can't know if that layer's been canceled. You have to constantly scout in ZVZ, and it's really, really difficult to keep tabs on your opponent. Now, the thing we're going to be looking for is, does either of them take an additional gas? Okay, yeah, this is a really, really neat little play right here from Shin, as once again, you were saying it's going to be mutas.
He loves mutas. Like, he's one of the guys that I've seen do it in multiple different matchups when you least expect it. But here, Steadfast, look at that. They're both going for mutas. I mean, this is a very large map. Being able to remove map control, get all those overlords off the map, hit these timings, and Solar did hit a very fast +1 missile. This does open up to the fact that he can start +2 very quickly, if he does so please. Which then, if you have to commit to dealing with the mutas, but then also deal with this +2 timing on the ground, it can get very problematic. I'm just wondering exactly what he's going to spend that gas on right now.
Well, the interesting thing about this is that he ceded an advantage that he had, which was the upgrade timing, which is a little bit counterintuitive. But the thing that makes it great is that Shin is so used to mind games, and he's so used to whatever, that when you double and triple mind game opponents, it can sometimes lead to these very, very weird, like almost double negative things.
Have they both scouted each other's Spire, by the way?
No, Shin has not seen Solar's Spire, because if he did, he would not be making that +2 missile. He would not be making that Bane speed, and he would not be making Roaches. Solar has a massive informational advantage right now, and it is going to translate to a very surprised Shin when his mutas show up, and there's so many more. Oh, it's going to be Roach Corruptor. Oh, wow, this is not what I was expecting.
It's really cool, though, because obviously mutas cannot fight Corruptors. They cannot. Corruptors have very good high armor, and I think Solar here, the fact that he knows what he knows, he's actually foregone the +2 entirely. I think he's going to try and hit a timing before anything's ready. So those Banelings, they're going to be useless unless they're in really high numbers. Those Banelings were most likely going to be for dealing with the Hydras that are going to come.
Surprise!
And there's no Hydras. And Shin right now, there's no reaction in his face. So maybe he was thinking like, hey, there's going to be something, but 28 Banes. This is going to be a huge clash. This is what we wanted between these guys. The Raging Bull against the Raging Bull. They are both getting ready to hit the other one as hard as possible. Solar splits have to be so on point against this huge mass.
This is so funny, because if it had been mutas, the ability to snipe down Banes would have been so powerful, but now there is going to be a lot of Roaches on the field. This is the first information we see for Solar. Baneling's going to try and roll on through. Splits for Solar are pretty decent to start things off. No +2 missile. Ravagers do start to fall, but the concave for Solar looking pretty good. Defender's advantage is going to kick in soon. Corruptors are on the other side of the field, killing Overlords, maybe Caustic spraying down something, I'm not even sure. Look at all those Overlords clumped up. The Roaches are going to be able to defend for now for Solar. It is a close fight, but it is Shin with no reinforcements crossing the map at the moment, and Solar, he is just sniping Overlords red. Supply is so low, and it is going to get worse here for Shin.
I love the fact that he's transfusing these Overlords, just trying to keep them alive, because that was a lot of damage done. You can see Solar, 158 out of 200. Shin, he is not so lucky, even letting him have that Overlord over there. Now, Solar does start up some extra upgrades over here. Shin is the one that's like, you know what? Maybe I need some Hydras in the mix, because that Baneling attack, it was very costly. I want to see the resources lost tab after all this chaos has happened here, because...
Yeah.
Okay, so Solar has been eking out quite a victory. Did lose more Roaches, has lost a couple of the Corruptors, but overall, what he has remaining, because those Banelings, they are not cheap, Steadfast.
No, they are very expensive. Obviously, the upgrade 100-100, not that expensive, but the Baneling nest, the Banelings, the Lings you built, 50-25 for each Bane, that adds up when you make 28 of them. Not going to do the math on stream, though, not this time. We are going to be seeing Solar maxing out quite a bit earlier. Will he commit to an attack? He is down an upgrade, and he did start that +2 missile, but look at the Roach count right now.
It is huge. I mean, that backline of Hydras is definitely going to be scary for dealing a lot of damage, and he's moving right up this ramp. He feels like his time is now to go, go, go. Nice dodging by Shin on the Corrosive Biles, and Shin, defender's advantage. His army is here. Everything is here, and those backline of Hydras can't really get pounced on. I mean, the Biles, they're not in high enough numbers to keep them moving to stop that DPS. Solar still retains a high count of Roaches, but that Corrosive Bile, or rather the spray, caustic spray from these Corruptors is going to do the job and take out the 4th base.
Yes, and this is, oh, actually, wow, these Corruptors, he might lose every single one of them, which,
that's
honestly,
pricey.
It's pricey, but they don't help in a direct fight, and they already did so much killing those Overlords, and now have killed that 4th base. I was going to say the caustic spray could have been used a lot earlier, like as in he could have used it a lot of the time earlier. And maybe could have even denied that +2 missile. We're getting into weirdness, but this has maybe been the weirdest game we've seen, as the weirdness continues. Like you just pointed out, oh my god, and now he cancels it. He started Bane speed and canceled it. This game is just all over the place. Banelings would have been good against the Hydras. I wouldn't have hated it, but Solar has his +2 missile done. He might just go in for another attack now.
Yeah, he's a bit worried that that upgrade will not come in time, and you need every resource you have. Solar has a bit more of a bank than his opponent, but right now, in terms of quality of army, they are neck and neck. I mean, Shin, he is very committed to this Tier 2 fight here, where it's just pure Roach, Ravager, and a few Hydras sprinkled in, but Solar, he is the one with the muscle right now. He can be here, there, and everywhere. Remember, he has a 4th base behind this that's been running for a while, and Shin, by the looks of it, he hasn't been able to restart his 4th.
No, he did on this pocket location. It just got canceled again. That is great for Solar. He actually restarted Bane speed after canceling that 4th base. Now, this is another weirdness. Okay, hold that thought. We're actually going to see another engagement coming in. Just a little Parthian shot, let's see. But oh, okay, actually Shin may be thinking he can push up this ramp, but it's always dangerous, even if you have more Roaches pushing into a concave. Base trade?
Banelings.
Base trade? What?
I mean, if Shin feels like he has to go across the map and he's rushing about and he's fighting on creep against Banelings, I mean, they don't have speed yet, which is a big deal, but he's running into them anyway, and those Ravagers are getting caught out very early on, but he has got away quite lucky there. We'll be able to most likely pick off that 5th base of Solar, and while all this is happening, the banks are getting far closer here. Those Banelings are not cheap. I can't emphasize enough, and Infestation Pit will be on the way, and Fungal is amazing against the armies that are on play here.
That it is. We are going to see a little bit of an engagement coming in potentially right here, as Shin is close to a big wraparound, but the Baneling speed just kicked in, and he will wisely pull back from that. This game is just all over the place. Ooh, big Corrosive Biles do land on the right side on Solar's army. One thing I got to point out, Solar could have started an infestation pit in his own hive a very long time ago, but he's elected to stay on this layer tech. Now we're going to see another kind of weird setup. There are a few of the Hydras in the back here. Corrosive Biles aiming for this army will connect a little bit. Solar has a lot of roaches retreating on the top side. Banelings, good splits from Shin. Very nice splits from Shin. And now he's got the numbers advantage. The army of Solar, so much of it just moved to a different position on the map. And Shin will hold, but Solar still had that massive bank, 23 roaches in production. This game is so bizarre. I cannot overstate how weird this is.
Shin has to be so careful about this next wave because Solar remaxed instantly.
Yeah.
So his economy has been looking a little bit better for a little bit of time. Upgrade-wise, for this moment in time as well, maybe for like the next half a minute or so, 45 seconds, he is going to be ahead. But there's a little bit of breathing room, but not for long. 4 Infestors on the way. If Solar wants to make a dent in Shin, he has to do it very quickly.
Yes, can we just take a look at the, that's Overlords on the left side of the map, right? The blue? Okay, wow. Wow, that is a Corrosive Bile dream. Oh my god, that is so many Overlords, and I don't think he has Overlord speed. But for now, Infestor popping out at this base. That is a nice fungal right there. No Corrosive Biles to follow it up, and in fact, the Ravager of Shin does go down, but there's a lot of Hydras and a lot of DPS. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, there is another fight, and that will be a jump on the third base. It was a really good fight there for Shin, but he doesn't have the units here to deal with both sides. That is that supply advantage for Solar coming through. The base will get sniped on the third base, and that is going to be difficult for Solar, or pardon me, for Shin to recover from.
This is one of those moments where Solar's the bad guy. He's like, ha, you may have won the battle, but you did not win the war. Taking out a base right there, and Shin is definitely on the back foot. He is now the one with a tech advantage with those Infestors, but he has to be so clean about it, because right now, he's got the tech, but Solar's definitely got the eco.
He does have to worry about the fact that he's killed drones. Ooh. Oh, massive fungal. No Corrosive Biles to follow it up just yet. Another big fungal. The Ravagers are a little bit squishier. Shin, though, is pushing into a bit of a concave. He needs to win a fight very, very hard, and that's what he's looking for. He's looking to chase down these units. Good Corrosive Biles there from Solar to buy himself time. Solar did keep a good number of roaches on the other side of the map, which means his army supply at home is quite a bit lower.
Yeah, absolutely. Solar's dealing economic damage on the far side. Right now, we see drones are dwindling in Shin's count. His armies ran out of fungals here. Those Infestors are now just free supplying. You see Solar picking them up. The supply is so darn close, though. But can Shin push through? He is so close to absolutely busting Solar here, and he's on one of the bases here.
Very nice snipe on the Infestors just before it gets fungal energy. There is going to be another fungal shortly. Shin really wants to catch those Ravagers. He misses the fungal, not able to get it there, but he will still break up the ramp. Solar is trying to buy more time for more units. Drones are going to pull into the fight. Shin, can he make this one happen? This is so Razor's Edge in an absolutely wild game. Shin is so committed right now. He's 3 base to 5.
He definitely is. I mean, if Solar loses his base, though, that's where a lot of his drones are. I mean, sacrificing all the Infestors here. Those 12 Hydras in the back line, I can't believe they're all staying alive as well as they are. If he kills that base...
Oh, one roach.
Yeah, just leave 1 roach behind, and that's exactly what he does. He leaves 2 behind here. So Solar, he's on a bit of a clock. He has to bust out of this, but with what? He's got less units available.
Ooh, that one does land on a single Hydra. It might not seem like a big deal, but this is actually so close. It could be anything. Ling's being added on. He does have Baneling speed. I don't know if you want to invest in that. He's got a lot of gas, could morph in a bunch of Ravagers, but this is just a ridiculous game right now. Drones are falling at that base. The larva were not being used initially. We do see another engagement coming through. Good concave for Shin. Solar really trying to protect that base. He knows that he can't really get the drones out, but Shin is going to give up the position. It was such a good position, but now he's trying to, I guess, rotate over and find his opponent out of position. There are still more army units for Shin, and actually, he is going to get a big jump on this left side. If he can set up at the bottom of the ramp, it's going to be so difficult for Solar to come down and deal with that.
He does have more Ravagers, though, to bust down here. I'm a bit surprised that he went over to this spot, actually.
Oh,
I really feel that he had that base absolutely under lock and key over there, but these bios are landing on Solar, actually, and Solar's supply is plummeting. 23 workers going down. I think he reinforced in the top right with a huge army here, taking out all the drones, and Solar absolutely getting cut back here. What? And Shin back on the board.
What a comeback from the Weibo Gaming Zerg. He was in such a difficult position in that game, and he clutched it out like nobody's business. He was at like 138 of 104, losing Overlords. down in tech, down in army supply, down in bases, 5 bases to 3. I cannot tell you how difficult it is to come back from that. Shin just showed a champion's poise in that game number 3.
He played really good, man. Like, if I've got to be hypercritical, which, you know, Akasa's and analysts and stuff, just giving away all 6 of those corruptors like he did to take out that bottom left hatch, that's the kind of thing where you could have moved those away a lot earlier, maybe not got the hatch right then and there, but absolutely utilize those later on in time, you know? And the fact that it allowed him to put his overlords all back in position, Solar never committed to Hydras, so dealing with those overlords for the vision was really hard. So that I think that, along with maybe a few other things, maybe getting a bit too overzealous, definitely bit Solar in the butt, but it is very nice that Shin was able to fight back in that game, because that, even though you see his face, he's smiling after win or lose, maybe he feels like, you know what, I shouldn't have won that game. Like,
he is 100% sure he shouldn't have won that game. That is the kind of game where you're just like, well, that's ZVZ. That's baseball, Susan. You know, it's, oh, man. I'm at a bit of a loss for words. I do think you make a very excellent point about that, because there was so much opportunity for the Roaches to force units into different positions. And if he gets that hatchery for free and kills all of those, keeps all those corruptors alive and is able to keep sniping overlords, Shin is just so blind. He's really going to struggle to make anything happen. Oh, man, I'm hyped now for the rest of this series. My blood is up.
Absolutely. I mean, if it was a 3-0, either way, I'd have been a little bit sad for the loser, you know, in any way, shape, or form. But here, Shin managing to make the start of a comeback happen. He was 2-0 down. All lifelines are gone for him. He has to keep focused, keep ready. And moving into Maganatha, our 4th map of the series. Spawning over in the bottom right-hand side, representing Falcons, it is Solar.
And his opponent spawning up in the top left with a ridiculous game number 3. It is Shin.
So all the super weird, wacky early build order stuff from him, you know, it didn't work out for him. But as soon as he goes back to the more normalized style, which I say more normalized, still with a muta, and the 4 mutas, it's something that he's done now a couple of times in a row. One time he got scouted, did 4 mutas anyway. Second time, 4 mutas anyway. So it tends to be like something that he likes to do. But I'm very curious how they're going to play this one. This is quite a large map. There's a lot of area to do fights, a lot of expand potential as well. I can't see this one being a short one.
No, this is... well, that's the thing about ZVZ is it could still be a very short matchup. Like, it's so weird, and I want to get into the analysis of what happened in that previous game. But the number of misdirects that each of them used was so expansive. This is a series about their entire history and the fact that they know each other so well, and that's why there are layers upon layers upon layers of mind games in this one. And I am so ready to see what they got into. A little bit of Roddy came through right there. To see what they do in this game number 4. Will Shin have the nerve to bust out something really, really weird? Or will he feel very confident coming out of that one?
They're both just such raging bulls when it comes to Zerg, man. Like, it really isn't about these clutch little key plays where it's like, oh, I did something super fancy. It's just about raw power. And you really feel that with how they were headbutting so hard, and some of the fights were so darn close. I felt that Shin did a much better job with the Biles in general. And maybe that's because he had this backline of Hydras that he didn't really have to worry too much about the fight itself because he had a lot of DPS, but Solar definitely ate a lot of those. I mean, that whiffed fungal at the end actually made me go like, oh, is that one thing that is going to actually go in Solar's favor here? But unfortunately for him, it did not.
Yes. Obviously, there was a much larger army for Shin, and that was why the fungal was so important, because if he catches those units at that moment, I think it's GG right then and there. Ultimately, of course, Shin does go on to win the game, but that is the kind of moment where if he ends up losing that fungal, that whiffed fungal, haunts him for a while, I think. But
because alternate timeline gets 3-0'd, or does a reverse sweep 3-2.
That's on the table. It's not happened yet, but it is on the table.
Alrighty, so in terms of what have these guys made, it's very, very mirrored up until now. They're pretty much neck and neck in drones, getting link speed exactly the same time. Third base is on the go, right in the triangular location. Shin with an immediate scout on that Roach Warren in the wall, though.
Yep, it is a, not the craziest thing, of course. He does get a scout on no second gas at that natural expansion, which is, well, it's a bit of a tell right there. It will come down now, but there's so many little different avenues you can take in ZVZ. Shin, for his part, is going to throw down the Roach Warren just a little bit later, double gas in the natural, but they're both still droning. The big deviations are, what do you do with an Evo chamber? Do you get a layer? And then from there, maybe we go into a mid-game.
I feel like, okay, I was going to say, I think Shin might be doing some kind of he was saving a lot of gas there before he went up for the lair, and I was like, this could be a lot of roaches, but no, neither one of them's going to go for it. It is a very long map to cross in terms of getting to your opponent straight away. Droning, both very equal, both very diligent about the scouting as well.
This is quite interesting from Solar. Those are very quick gases at the third base. I want to keep an eye on the mineral line in the natural. Will drones transfer over from there? We do see it's, sorry, did I say 5 gas? It's 4 gas. He didn't take the second gas in the natural. This is, God, it's mind games on mind games on mind games with these two.
I actually like it when Zergs do this with the gases.
Yes,
because
you can't scout those gases easily.
The gases at the back, you have no idea what's behind, but this means the potential could be, this could be 6 gas, or this could be 3 or 4, whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas then you start to panic and worry. So taking those gases at the front tends to be something that the Zergs do go for. Because even though knowledge is power, it's one of those things where you're denying the knowledge in the back as well.
And speaking of knowledge is power, what is Solar doing? He is not building an Evo chamber. Ooh, this is a big scout into the main base. He will see the lack of this gas. That is a fake gas. That is a fake gas if ever I've seen one. We are going to see Solar probably not cancel it now just to prove me wrong. But it is going to be a Roach speed push coming in from Solar. No Evo. Balls to the wall, and now he drones out of it because why not? I've been scouted. Let's pivot hard, just like I'm pivoting hard in this sentence.
Absolutely. I mean, his drone count is pretty damn low, so he does want to scare his opponent, force something out of him. But the fact, there's no Evo. I mean, he's making one now, but no +1 done or even started at this point. He definitely wants to do a big old switch to mutas.
Yeah.
And I like it. He's going to have speed a little bit earlier than his opponent here, and this is going to start the headbutting here. He is behind the supply, so he does have to be careful, but he's got more roaches out right here, right now.
Yes, and that is what he's going to be looking to trade with that roach speed. It's actually starting to work out pretty well for him. Shin going to pull the drones into this fight to try and buy time for those reinforcing roaches, and he will successfully manage to do so. Solar's got to be very careful about a potential counterpunch. Solar's been droning very hard behind this. If Shin goes with the +1 missile, the roach speed, he is going to be very difficult to stop right now. But if Solar can manage to convince his opponent not to push until those mutas pop out, things may be okay for Solar. As it is right now, it's going to come down to whether Shin has the read, and I think we've maybe already had that window close. We will see this changeling come in, though. Oh, does it see the Spire? He stops short, and he won't see the Spire. Mutas pop out, but Shin, he is the one now building a Spire behind this. This is so wild.
It's wild, but I feel it plays in Solar's favor quite a lot here. He has to do a lot of damage with these roaches. He really does. And I mean, Solar's going to have to be buying time with his own roaches, trying to stop the drones from dying. But those mutas will clean up shop. And then it's about what is Shin going to do? He cancels his Spire, goes for a Hydralisk Den behind, because why wouldn't you? But I tell you what, this amount of drones that's already fallen, this is actually very problematic for Solar.
It is hugely problematic. That choke in the natural really slowing down those units. The Evo chamber helping a lot. It was built quite a bit later. So many drones have fallen at this point. We see tunneling claws starting up for Shin behind this. This is a massive amount of damage. He sends the roaches back into the main base. That is because he's tunnel visioning the layer. He didn't switch back right away. If he had clicked on that, he maybe could have killed that layer straight up, but he goes after drones again. There is a massive worker lead. Solar needs to get so much done with what is going to be a counterattack, but he's droning out of this. I don't think that's a strategic option.
I mean, He's just hoping that his opponent is spending so much on infrastructure here, getting spore crawlers up. I mean, the supplies are very close, and the army is bigger for Solar, but he's got a few options here. Do I cross the map? What do I do with this? Because he can catch up on drones with what he has, because he did keep a lot of his battle units alive.
Yeah, but it is going to leave him quite far behind. Now, the one thing I will say is the 4th base is going to be very nice here. But you can see Solar he's spending every little bit of money that he has, and he is very slowly creeping back up into that worker count. Now, Shin, he's got his own 4th base up too. It is going to be a little bit difficult to deal with that. The Mutas killing that potentially. How many Hydras are on the field? How many spores at that 4th base? 14 Hydras?
You know, he got tunneling claws, but he didn't get burrow in time. So those roaches are going to be very much revealed. And he's going for infestors with this as well. Did he cancel the burrow? Or has he got it? No, he canceled it.
No, he forgot it.
He had it on the research tab, but then he just canceled it again. So I don't know exactly what's going on there. Solar's like, hey, this is way too easy for me right now. Like, where are you? And he was starting to head back for a moment here. But this, Solar's right back in it in terms of macro. It's just his army in a head-on fight is not going to be better against Hydra Infestor. And he has to go for the map control, he has to go for the macro, has to go for the expansions here.
Yes, we are going to be seeing the +2 missile, the Hydra speed. Do we have Hydra range already? Yes, we do. All right. So we are going to be going very, very soon for Shin with 4 Infestors, 5th one on the way, +1 melee started up for Solar, and he is going to be trying to use these Lings to morph into Banes. That is a massive scout seeing those Lings right there for Shin, because that is going to let him know my opponent is almost certainly going to be playing at least some form of Banes. Muta count is very high. This is a weird hybrid Mutaling Bane and Roach Ravager setup. +1 flyer attacks is going to make those Mutas pack a punch, but Shin's army in a straight-up fight is going to be much more powerful. Will Solar be able to keep him from crossing the map, though?
Yeah, because that is the one thing that Solar needs to do right now. He needs to stop his opponent from being able to cross the map. I got to say, Solar's being a little bit wishy-washy with these Mutas. It's like, do I go here? Do I go there? He's always got to be careful about a burrowed Infestor that gets 1 fungal, because then the next ones can follow. But yeah, these Mutas are not trading cost efficiently so far, but they bought him time. But that's a huge army, man. It's 58 drones for Shin. So this is one of the biggest Zerg armies you're going to see.
It is. It's all going to come down to the Banelings, the Fungals. Can they connect? Infestors need to be protected. Where are the Banelings? Did he even morph any? No, he might just be defending with Roach Ravager. Yeah, he threw away all the Lings. He has no Banes, which means that it is a much better army for Shin. Solar will have a couple Mutas getting caught in the back by these Fungals. Shin should not be deterred. This is his opportunity. The STC max out has come through, and he is ready to just kill his opponent and force that game number 5. He cannot be deterred. Fungal growths land. They're big, they're bad, and so is Shin's army. He will force the GG, he will force game 5, and it all comes down to the rubber match.
It really does, and I tell you what, being 0-2 down and then just playing this way, it really feels like each time somebody's tried to do something a little bit weird and wacky, they've been caught out. And here, Solar, I like the initial Roach push, I liked the idea of it, but he did not have enough. And Shin, very rightly so, he was like, you know what, I got to do a lot of eco damage with these Roaches because this is a one-way trip. I am not going to get home with them. And the fact that he did like 35, 38 drones or whatever it was worth of damage, that was enough to cement him in that game. And I like the choice that he did as well, where it's like, oh, this Mutas, cancel Spire, Hydralisk Den immediately, get some spores back at home as well. He handled that very well.
Yes, this is such a fun series because we talk about ZVZ, we use that old analogy, it's a knife fight in a phone booth. That's usually referring to Ling Bane fights. We haven't seen almost any Ling Bane fights. This feels like a kickboxing match in a laundromat. Like they are just doing the weirdest stuff. They keep bumping into washing machines. They're throwing these weird Hail Mary kicks. They're hitting their own shins. I didn't even mean to do that. Hitting their own shins on the washing machines. Like it is just so weird and wonky, but it is so beautiful to watch. It's a viral video you can't take your eyes off of. And I am so glad it has gone to a game number 5. And it is going to be here on Ultra Love. Oh, man, as we get into it, quick prediction.
I mean, it's hard to say. Momentum is definitely in Shin's favor, but those first 2 games, if Solar does stick to the solid and doesn't deviate too much, I feel that he's the one that has quite a bit more experience, even though Ragnarok has also been around since the start. Anyhow, getting into it, top right, our Red Zerg, it is Falcon Solar.
And his opponent putting up a Herculean effort, trying to come back from a 2-0 deficit for Weibo Gaming. It is Shin.
I always love Shin's posture, man.
It's so bad. It's such terrible posture. Showtime just threw up somewhere. He's like, oh, what is happening?
Like watching Shin there in his computer, it's just like, yeah, he's doing some office work that he really doesn't like, you know, where it's like, okay, this is my 9 till 5. I don't like it here, but, you know, he plays so damn well, and you always see his APM being ridiculously high as well. Alrighty, this game again. So we got gas first, pool second, or rather, hatch first, gas pool. So totally standard builds from these guys. And remember, everything that you've practiced, everything that you've been doing over this past year has led up to this moment. Winners go on with a $5,000 extra, a bonus, and potential for so much more. Already, they are walking home, or the loser walks home with $22,500. But if you win, there is potential for so much more, with first place being $200,000.
Yes, and this is so important. I talked about it at the beginning of the broadcast. The EWC Club Championship points that are on the line right here for both teams. Falcons, they've still got Rogue. They're definitely hoping Solar makes it through. They have not clinched any points yet, but if Shin makes it through as the sole representative of Weibo Gaming, there is a very, very good chance. I'm not going to say for sure. There's a very good chance, though, that there is a lot more money on the line for his team and maybe even for him personally. So this could not be bigger stakes for the Blue Zerg in this one.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I have no idea how Weibo is doing in other games. I know Falcons are absolutely up there in the rankings. I think they're 4th place right now. But they would absolutely adore their StarCraft 2 players to do well in this tournament. Because if they do, every little bit helps. They are the returning champions of the club championships. And that is the opportunity to say that you are the best esports club in the world for the entire year. And I tell you what, they've been memeing a lot on the Twitters. And absolutely kind of rubbing it in a little bit. I know Team Liquid were absolutely victim to that from the Falcons. Ooh. So, yeah, quite a lot of what's the word? Pride on the line.
Ah, yes, a lot of ribbing. There's a lot of fun meme potential you have when you are up like that, when you are the returning champion. Let's talk about Ling Bane, the knife fight in the phone booth. They keep listening to me or something and being like, let's prove Steadfast wrong. This is the 6th or 7th time in the series, and I'm ready for it again. Big Ling Bane swell coming in from Solar. Shin building a lot of Lings defensively as well. It will come down to the micro. Do we have any morphing Banes for Solar? His Bane Nest was quite a bit faster, but not going to see them just yet.
No, definitely not. And I don't know where the Overlords are positioned here for Shin, so I don't know exactly if he sees anything on this right side. It doesn't look like he does, so doesn't know what's happening right behind
this hatch.
The hatch is getting seriously low.
He cannot lose that. He cannot lose this hatch, but Solar is going to go for it. He's going to tunnel it. Oh. He will get that hatchery. Baneling goes down on the backside, but the hatchery going down for Shin is a disaster. Solar gets himself a massive lead going into the mid game.
That is a massive lead. Massive. Because if you are to make a lot more drones, where do they go? Now, Shin, he has a choice here. And it's one of those where it's like, okay, I have to put down a third. What do I do next? Because I want to do some counter damage. I have to do some counter damage. Nice micro snipe out the Banelings here. He's got quite a few Banelings of his own. But the Banelings, whose Banelings going to hit first? And why? I love that Shin's microing just one Zergling onto each of these Banelings here. And this is a lot that Solar is defending with. Honestly, Shin needs more Lings here. I know he's got a bunch here that are hitting this hatchery, but that's a lot of Banelings that can't really do much against these Queens.
Oh man, that was a situation where if Shin had kept the pedal to the metal, he might have been able to actually deny that base. You can't know going into it. You're assuming your opponent's going to be able to defend. You're just trying to keep them from droning up with that third base advantage and being able to mine more. But if we rewind the time machine, Shin continues to commit to that for sure. Maybe he gets the hatch, maybe he doesn't. But now his hatch on the other side is under intense duress. He needs to pull these Lings back. He needs to hold this. 2 Queens have been pulled. That means, of course, less injects. Shin is continuing to drone. Solar building roaches behind this. Shin has his own Roach Warren, but he needs to figure out what's coming, and he also needs to keep this hatch alive. He is in such a desperate position right now, and he starts the layer. Oh no, Shin, this is going to be so difficult for him.
It really is, because you see that Shin is committing to the next part of the game, which may or may not happen.
Oh my
and look
God,
at Solar,
that Overlord.
right out of vision over there. This third hatchery is on half health as well. And that is a lot of money invested in what may never come. Spinecrawler is starting, though.
He scouted something. What did he see? He started a Spine.
He definitely did start a Spine. The Evo Chamber does start for Solar. Lair also starts for him. So maybe not going to push it absolutely, because he is droning behind us at the same time.
Oh my God, he must have gotten a scout somehow. Ooh, little manual detonation on the Bane right there. I cannot believe Shin is not going, well, okay, hold on. Let's take a look at this fight here on the left side. Banelings, oh, they're gonna come in on the middle line looking for drones. Shin needs to split, he will lose 3 drones. That is something that is gonna hurt a lot. He didn't cancel the Spine. Solar, he must have been scouted, because the only reason I think he would drone out of that is if he had been scouted. Shin, did he cancel his layer? Or is he just not starting an upgrade? No, he is just not starting an upgrade. There we go, there's the Roach speed, focusing a little bit more on redroning. This game has just been all over the place right now. Solar has the worker advantage right now, and he has the much faster +1 missile. But Shin is still in this game, and after the loss of the third hatch, I cannot believe it.
Yeah, I mean, it's still very close. Solar just had to spend a lot of money on Overlords, and he is getting a little bit of supply lead. After that, Shin droning up again. Now, Solar is ahead in the +1. They're both pretty close when it comes to the speed, and Solar just checking. This has been a series with a lot of Mutalisks, but this Overseer should be able to get a little bit of a glimmer at some of these drones being made, so he knows that he is droning. And Solar, he hasn't pressed the drone key in a good hot minute or so.
No, he is not. Shin is going to have to get a very big scout here and figure out that his opponent is going for a really aggressive push, because if he can't figure that out, it is going to be so difficult to hold. Only 2 drones on that gas. I think that's a little bit of a mind game. He doesn't see the drone count at the 3rd. Oh no, that is so unfortunate for Shin. He is building nothing but units, but is that going to be enough against this attack? He did just get supply block with the loss of that Overseer. Solar, he is a little bit supply blocked himself, though, but Solar is committing very hard to this push. He will start up the +2 missile, but he is going to have this upgrade timing advantage. Can Shin defend against what is going to be a hammer blow from Solar?
It really is going to be a lot of units, and supplies are a little bit deceptive here, because that is 10 drones with a lot more roaches here, but defender's advantage might lose a Ravager instantly. One gets taken out immediately, the other as well, and now Solar caught in the middle here. He does have the upgrade advantage, takes out the Spinecrawler. That was a high armor unit, but this is so much Zerg. Shin trying to run forward and take out those Ravagers in the back at the same time, but supply dwindling on both sides, and even though the wraparound is huge by Shin, the reinforcements from Solar, there is just more of the red Zerg. Drones getting pulled as well. Shin's head tilting a little bit at this moment. Drones are falling. Solar is just pushing in for the victory here, even with +2 on the way, and GG! Solar takes it after being 2-0 up. Shin almost made the reverse sweep happen. A little bit of a fist pump there from our Weeboo player. But I tell you what, Solar earned that, and he had to work freakishly hard for it.
Freakishly hard indeed. That was, oh man, that's a little bit heartbreaking for Shin right there. He was so close to bringing that back. Even in game number 5, the fact that he was able to survive as long as he did was just very impressive, and come back and make it a game after losing that third hatch. That is really tough for Shin. I gotta give it a moment there.
Gotta give it a moment. I mean, those first 2 games, he went with a weird and wacky, and it did not work out. And if you think about it, like if he did not go for those, this is when you start to think and overthink as a pro gamer. It's like, I love the fact that he went for it, because it really kind of tells your opponent at the start of the series that you can do anything. But when you start thinking about, man, those 2 maps, those 2 initial maps, I really kind of like, that didn't work out at all. And in the macro games, it was like, you know, I technically won 2 of them, and then I lost the last one, and you start to think about all these rough situations. But honestly, that was the kind of ZVZ I wanted out of these 2. Like 3-2 either way. There was no clear favorite at all. And there their continuation as rivals lives on. Absolutely. It is never going to be it's never going to be anything but close between them.
No, and something I missed actually during that very first game, and I know that we're looking at the replays, and this series was so wild. I know a lot of people are like, DBD, not a great series. No, this was an amazing series. There was one Ling at the very top of the ramp, and it was just sitting between the queens, and it prevented a wraparound on the second queen and a run by. And I want to say that must have kept out like 5 or 6 Lings. Without that tiny little single Ling there is a very good chance that Shin gets through earlier, maybe just crushes through, maybe just wins the game right there. And then, I mean, I'm not going to say he wins the series by any means, because this series went so off the rails in so many ways, but we have a completely different series. A 1-0 lead one way or the other, it really can make or break everything. So we may end up looking at that one Ling, and Solar, I mean, we don't really give raises in the Zerg army. They don't really last too long in their careers to do so. But that might have been a $7,500 Ling.
It might have been, and here in the final moments of the series here, you get to see just the swarm, and as soon as drones are pulled into roaches, it's such a mismatch between them, and Solar, very well played, and we'll get to hear from the man himself. Take it away, Ravi.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm here with Solar coming in hot off of that victory, a very hard-fought victory. I mean, I just got to ask you, after a series like that, what's kind of running through your head, especially after that really chaotic ending of the game?
Yeah, I think I won the first 2 games very easily because of the build order wins, and I already know how to play against that. So, but even though like I lost him in like standard micro games in game 3 and 4, so I was very nervous about it after it. So in game 5, I tried to play aggressive, like that what I can do the best. Yeah.
I have to ask, because I feel like, especially we were talking about the first couple of games and everything, the build order choices and just the way that you decided to play was so diverse and across the board. Did you come into this series just kind of with that game plan of, I'm going to like mix it in this game, like this map or this game, I'm going to go for this hyper aggressive play, or I'm going to go fast tech, or was it really more adaptive and kind of adjusting to how the series was going?
Oh yeah, like I don't know what to say, because my head is like just very chaotic right now. Because Korean ZVC is like you just do random thing in the tournaments, especially not in practices, but just in tournament you like all of Koreans are just do random builds. So it's very chaotic, but it's very fun to play actually. Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad that you love it, and I think I want to ask you about the playoff matches, because you have now qualified to the playoffs. Congratulations, but that also means, as I know you're kind of giving me that face, you have to play a really tough opponent next. It's one of the players that like won from before. Is there anyone you really want to avoid, or someone that you really would rather face?
I think Maru. He seems like really strong against Rainer yesterday, so I'm really worried about him. But if I get him, I will just try to get a revenge in DreamHack Dallas finals. Yeah.
I love that answer. Really quick. Is there something about like the way that you saw the series with Maru go that you're like, okay, I think I can do better or something, or?
Yeah, like in Dallas, I really not prepared about him because I didn't think I can make it to finals. So yeah, but this time I prepared better than that. So maybe I can have some chances.
You're the king of trash talk. I hope that Clem is a little afraid of me. I think that I can do a little better. Well, congratulations again, Solar. Thank you so much. And we will see you guys in the next match with another mirror matchup of PvP. Take care.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Esports World Cup. I am Steadfast. That was a series and a half. Shin, so close to the reverse sweep. I spoke with him a little bit after the game. It was a rough loss. Gave him a little hug, but yeah, a hero's performance. Solar moves on to the next round. Incredible victory for him, but just wanted to say I really, really appreciated Shin's heart in that series. It was fantastic. I am joined on the desk by Fear Dragon and Demu. Onward and upward, as they say. One ZBZ down, one playoff match done, pre-playoff match. Another one coming at you. Classic versus Showtime. Ben.
I will take it from here. Yeah, classic Showtime. I think this is a really good one for a lot of reasons, because of the two Korean Protosses that are highly, highly renowned right now, like arguably the two best in the world, the one that to me resonates a lot with Showtime is far more classic. So this is very much the Showtime of Europe against the Showtime of Korea in a lot of ways, because I feel that their styles are so, they try and play in a way that's like you're bulletproof all the way through the game. I know Cyril talked about it, talking about how he prepped for classic, and it's just like, it's very hard to find a way to actually kill him, to find a real kink in the armor. But I think this is a close one, because micro-wise, they're both very good, neck and neck. Style-wise, they're both very close as well. I think Classic is the favorite here, but going any further than like 65-35 in terms of who's the favorite, I think this, as far as the Korean Protoss that Showtime would like to play, he'd far more like to play Classic. Also, it's just good to test his stuff. He's played a lot of series against Hero in the past, and it's always been fairly close, maybe with Hero edging out a little bit more, but he's had so much PvP practice over with Max Packs in Europe, and yeah, I think this is actually going to be quite close on paper.
Yeah, I'm in 100% agreeing with you, by the way, Ben, and I want to just mention, like, even to back up a lot of what you're saying, you know, they have had like a back and forth history in terms of their matches. I think they most recently played in the RSL, where I think Classic did edge out the victory 2-1. But I also want to mention that even just in terms of their performance last year, this is the round that Showtime made it to and got knocked out of, where he made it to that top 12 or so. And Classic was the one who made it to round 8 and got knocked out there. So Classic, I think, just to outperform his performance last year, he is expecting to win this and at least make it to the next round, if not further. Showtime, he's got to beat this round to really overcome the hurdle that he couldn't overcome last year. Looks like the game is ready as well, and we have game number 1 ready and set to go on Tokamak. We are on top of the red Protoss player from Team Sentinels. He is Showtime.
And looking like one of the hottest aspects on the Protoss market right now, ever since like 6 months ago. In fact, ever since he came back from the military, just on the rise. It is Virtus Pro's Classic. Now, I know a lot of people going into EWC, they talk about the favorites, and you know, you get the names Cyril, Claire, Maru. But Classic, a year ago, would people have been picking him as like a favorite going into it? Absolutely not. And that is kind of funny to say, like Gamers 8, he was one of the only Protosses that actually beat Raynor.
Oh, yeah.
And he beat Cyril in that group stage as well. So that was 2 years ago, and that was when he was like kind of new and back again. It was like he was doing these multiple robo plays against Terran as well, where it's like lots of disruptors. So he has quite a history of showcasing new styles and really bouncing back. But whatever's happened to the man, whether it's like getting picked up by Virtus Pro, a nice new team for him, just feeling stable, he has been showcasing some very good Protoss play, not just in one matchup, in all matchups here. Now, we did get to see Showtime on the stream yesterday, I believe, and here we have proxy pylons fight by both of them. But so far, this isn't the kind of proxy.
Did Classic find it? Showtimes, or just barely miss it?
Ooh, does spot it. But given that the building of a building is shorter vision, maybe Showtime doesn't know about it.
Yeah, exactly. I believe with just what I saw from the minimap at least, I think that Showtime would not have seen the probe. But it is important for Classic just to check in and have an idea of, okay, did I see a probe over there as well? Because sometimes it's just the pylon, like it is right there for Showtime, and sometimes it's going to be the proxy, like a robo here for Classic. A big bit of aggression going to be coming Showtime's way soon.
I did say that both these players were quite similar in how they do approach the game, but one thing Korean players have always had seemingly over the Europeans is they are ruthless, man. They are absolutely ruthless. And here, oh my goodness, a Stargate versus a Robo?
I mean, this can work out really well for Showtime if he gets the right units and is able to micro perfectly through this. Because you can get a lot of utility out of that Stargate. Even like say something like an early Phoenix or two can lift up that Immortal. It can also even chase down a Warp Prism or something. Finding the pylon is going to suck there as, you know, now those Stalkers get to kill this. But it does maybe just buy Showtime a little bit of time to get these Adepts across the map, because he knows where two of the Stalkers are.
Yeah, Showtime now sees the third and fourth Stalker as well, which very often that can lead into Proxy Robo. Like, it absolutely can. You've got a lot of firepower. Now, I'm very curious what Showtime's going to make. He is supply block for this moment, and Stargate's already finished. So that is one thing that Showtime's probably a bit like, damn, what's going to be making here? And it is an Oracle. So, I mean, you can get damage done on the other side of the map, which can be good.
Can we check the mineral line of Classic just to see? I don't think there's any shield battery there or anything. But yeah, okay, I just want to make sure, because sometimes if you are expecting a Stargater, you might throw down a shield battery eventually. But for now, that Oracle will potentially be able to run rampant there. But Showtime has to also defend his actual main base here.
But he is making lots of shield batteries, and I think they are all at the front. He's already got a third one there as well. So Showtime is fully aware that there's a lot of firepower potential in that army. Now, this Oracle has a big job on his hands, and we do see only one sentry here in the mix in the natural. So damage can be done on both sides for sure, but that Immortal is definitely King Daddy on the playground right now.
Yeah, I think that Classic will probably just go for some of the free damage on that pylon first with the Warp Prism, providing that high ground. Depowers one of the Warp Gates, it actually looks like there. So going to be a bit of trouble for Showtime as he tries to find some of the damage with that Oracle. Already able to find 4 workers and a lot of less mining time. Big damage actually already being done with the Oracle also escaping.
All right, one gateway is going to be lost along with that initial pylon. There's not really much you can do to save that. But yeah, not using the Stargate, you're absolutely right. Getting a Phoenix out right now would be pretty clutch. Being able to just remove the Immortal from the fight and also make it a target for you.
Even a Void Ray at this point, honestly, with how long the Stargate has just been idle and losing the gateway.
Yeah, I think the Void Ray is still susceptible here to these Stalkers and what have you, but losing all this infrastructure and the fact that he's committed to 4 shield batteries, there's one in the back there as well. I mean, you've got to start using your production here. You've got to. And Showtime realizes that single pylon there has a big job on his hands here, powering up all those buildings. And he is making Immortals behind this, making Phoenix behind this too. So he's making the right units to deal with this army. And Classic, look at his eco here. The probe count, it's not huge.
Yeah, he's actually having to invest additional resources into just replenishing his probe count. So he's starting to build it up after the Oracle losses from earlier. But the Oracle's still alive, by the way, Ben. So if Classic isn't careful, that Oracle could also dart back in and find some additional damage. It also just keeps an eye out and says, you still haven't expanded. That's so important for Showtime to also know.
It really is. So scouting tool, and he didn't reveal the Phoenix here. These Immortals have to be so careful, because one pickup, and oh my god, that is huge. That is actually huge that he got the pickup there, but it's a slow warping at the front. No gateway here for this army, but one Immortal down.
Yeah, one Immortal down. The pylon does not go down either. That was powering some of the shield batteries. There is a backup pylon as well, so Showtime can still rely on that, but these are some big pickoffs for Showtime. Supply block does come in as well for Showtime, though.
What's the resources lost tab at right now? Because this is, in fact, it's neck and neck. I did not expect that at all. I guess a lot of that is production, though, like infrastructure. 2 gateways, a pylon, that kind of stuff. Twilight Council coming in from Classic here, so kind of realizing, hey, I don't think I'm going to be able to actually push through here. My opponent's actually responded very well to this, and rightly so. Phoenix count is sticking at 2 for now. Now that can remove 2 Immortals from that fight.
Oh, I love the timing of it for Showtime. He was just maybe a half a second too late and could have maybe sniped off that probe and denied the Nexus for a little longer, but Showtime at least knows that the Nexus is there, and he knows that this is going to turn to a contain.
And look at that. He's going for Glaive Adepts behind this. Now, that is super curious for me. I mean, his opponent is absolutely only able to make Protoss mech at this point. I feel so silly saying it. Roddy out there is somewhere absolutely giggling his butt off at this situation, but Showtime's army is actually bigger right now. Like 400 minerals on that Nexus. You got the Twilight Council and the Blink, which, you know, they're not going to come online for quite some time. Picks off the Observer as well.
That's very nice.
Showtime is looking to break out of this.
Yeah, and there's going to be the first little force field there. Immortal's going to try and get some damage on. Don't want to take any real damage. The Adepts actually did finish the Shade as well, so all of them are going to end up falling. Immortals drop back on down, and Showtime is going to keep everything alive for a little bit, but loses one of the Immortals in the Warp Prism. Stalker's also getting force field on the bottom of the ramp. This is not exactly how I think Showtime wanted it to go, but he does at least kill the Warp Prism, so no more high ground vision.
The big thing there was losing that. Oh, that is just
unfortunate.
That is very unfortunate, actually. Like, the Warp Prism loss sucked for Showtime. Having the Immortal inside as well sucked. He tried to be as Larry as possible with all of that. And by the way, he cancelled the Glaives and went back into, or went to Blink. I like that choice way more in this situation.
Yeah.
And he's actually getting on out of there, realizing that, hey, I got a natural up. I've got a tech advantage here as well.
No, there's absolutely no need to stick around at this point. You are just going to be risking it the longer you stick around. Especially, remember, there's no reinforcing pylons or anything with no Warp Prism there either, so you were only going to fall further behind an army supply for a potential fight. Why not defend back at your own natural, where you have some shield batteries of your own, get up another shield battery, and just try and coast on that economy? Showtime is the one that has to get something done.
And that is so much army. I mean, probe count, you see the minerals down in the bottom there, 1,300 per minute versus 500. Every second that goes by is a bad second for Showtime, and does manage to get a force field there, but is it the wall? The Warp Prism goes down as well.
That's going to be brutal. Classic taking that first game, and I mean, to me, Ben, I really feel like it was still a very even game until that breakout attempt from Showtime really just didn't go quite the way he wanted to. You saw a couple of things going wrong there with the Adept. They finished the Shade despite the fact that all of the Stalkers and everything got force fielded out. The Immortal and, of course, the dying in the Warp Prism up on that high ground was also a disaster. And then, I mean, yeah, the Oracle was just, you know, a little icing on the cake there.
It definitely was icing on the cake. That's a good way to put it, because I feel that Classic, like the Immortal drop in the north of Showtime's base, that was the first thing that started to go wrong for him, right?
Yeah.
But that was the only thing that went wrong. I actually think he dealt with a lot of those fights very cleanly. He also made Showtime have to do something. And it's uncomfortable trying to get down a ramp like that. Showtime definitely used all his tools, but losing that Warp Prism and that Immortal and then the Oracle, yeah, nail in the coffin there. I think Classic's follow-up as well, just being very careful, recalling back home, not trying to even run home. That was smart by him. And you felt that once you get a lead, why risk it? And Classic's play, he's very safe, very calculated, as is Showtime. But in that first game, Classic was ruthless, went for the kill, and then got his edge, got his advantage, went back home, and yeah, it was a great follow-up by him.
Game number 2 is going to be getting on ready. And remember that this is going to be just a 1-0 lead and a best of 5 there for Classic. So Showtime still has a little bit of leeway here, but I do feel like just historically with how Showtime has been, I know he's an experienced veteran. He's used to being down in a series and mounting comebacks and everything, but going down 0-2 in a series versus someone that a lot of people are saying is potentially a contender for one of the best Protoss players in the world, it's just not where Showtime wants to be at such a high stakes match.
Even Hero called him the best Protoss right now,
Yeah,
but you know, he wants to take the title here. Anyhow, spawning over in the bottom left-hand side of ley lines, representing Sentinels, it is Showtime.
And from Virtus Pro, we have up at the top right-hand side of the map of ley lines our blue Protoss player from Korea. He is Classic.
Absolute phenomenal time for Virtus Pro to pick him up, by the way. Like, as far as players peaking, rising, you name it. That was a guy that was on everybody's radar. And the fact that he's doing as well as he is, I mean, he did lose 3-0 to Serral, but if you watched any of the games, he absolutely pushed Serral and made it very difficult for him. This map does look like it will be leading into the 2-gate situation. Double gate, double gas, Cybernetics core. Then it's about seeing what they do afterwards. Showtime's been very much about plonking a pylon on the map, but not necessarily doing anything with it. Whereas Classic, he did the same thing. But then upon seeing, like, that was such a big deal, being able to see your opponent's pylon, where it is, and your opponent doesn't have the same fortune, that was already a big advantage for Classic.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you actually are calling that out, because he did the same thing versus Cyan, and I feel like that series versus Cyan actually really just shows you exactly where Showtime's headspace is at with PvP, where he will do that consistently, set up for the 1 in every like 5 to 8 games in a PvP that he will go for that hyper-aggressive proxy robo or something like that. It's not necessarily the characteristic of the older Showtime from a while ago, but he's definitely been the player who's done that in the last couple of years.
Also, I love looking at Showtime's heart rate. And that makes you think, when he's actually resting, it is, and speaking of Ravi.
Yeah, there you go.
Proxy robo on both sides.
This is fascinating.
These are defensive Protosses here that we're watching, and they are not being defensive. In fact, look how mirrored these builds are right now. Showtime's robo is definitely a tiny bit closer to his opponent's base, and maybe a bit easier to defend if it gets to it, but it's also very much on the route to your opponent's base. So in that regard, it's a bit wild, and both of them are scouting around. Looks like Showtime will be able to spot this, though. Now, will Classic be able to spot this? I mean, his probe doesn't look like it's going to go on that path, so Showtime is the one with the knowledge of this game, unless he changed. Oh, wait.
The double Adepts actually are shading out, and I think they may walk past this. Oh, that's actually a pretty big scout there, because if, I don't know 100%, but I think that if the Shades were in flux while they passed that, I'm not actually sure they had the vision to scout that.
But I tell you what, the fact that Showtime gets a probe on the map as well, reveals the 2 Stalkers, but we do see that things are very similar on both sides, and he did get to see that a Warp Prism was being warped out. Will he get that Adept? Ooh, that was so close there. But right now, I would give the small edge to Showtime here. Just with what's been happening, these 2 Adepts have a job on their hands, though, and they can be very, very lethal. But this is very much a mirrored game here. Like, these guys are absolutely trying to kill each other with the exact same tools.
Yeah, we're going to see who's going to be able to execute this better. When you have the same tools available, it is going to be about how you're able to leverage those tools. Adept's going to be moving in for both of these players, and we see the Micro coming out. Similar-ish probe counts going down for both sides, but just 1 extra worker going down for Showtime.
Neck and neck on the worker kills overall now, given that Showtime killed the one that was hopping around the map. And the thing is, Classic was in position to deal with those. Ooh! Will have a little bit of a nibble on that Adept and does take it down.
I love the Hallucinate Phoenix just continuously sticking on that War Prism so you can keep an eye on it, because he is moving out with a lot of his army because he knows where that Robo is. He's going to go for it. He moves in with the Adepts. He's going to put his War Prism out over there as well. And, I mean, the War Prism for Classic is in a lot of trouble because it's being tracked. It can't really just ambush these units easily.
Yeah, and I tell you what, this Immortal's already lost all its shield here, and I don't think he's going to be able to get that second one out. If he does,
massive. And yeah, I mean, at this point, you know where that War Prism still is. With your Hallucinate Phoenix, you can continue to just invest a couple of your weapons back at home to try and deal with this. You are going to need more than just 2 Stalkers to deal with the Immortal. But, I mean, this is such a big win. He loses his own Robo in the process, though.
He certainly does, but he is ahead in supply. He does have the ability to recall here. It does look like he has enough energy.
He just chronoed with his main Nexus. I don't know that he has his energy anymore.
Battery energy. So he does use that to keep these Stalkers alive, which was a good move. And Classic, getting a bit feisty here. So what's the Immortal count for both of them? I mean, this Warp Prism is safe. But the thing is, Classic has got ready for his next tech of choice, which is going to be Phoenix. Now, they are good against Immortals. Neither one of them can make more Immortals. And Showtime's the one this game going into the Twilight. I feel that overall, I like how this is going for Showtime. Like, he's in a decent spot. Blink is always very good. He's the one starting his Nexus up early. But he has to be so careful, because one Phoenix in the mix here can really, like, just taking that Immortal out of the fight makes it so much weaker. And
that's a big snag there for Classic. 2 sentries. Is that all the sentries there for, I think, Showtime? Yeah, he doesn't have anything left to actually do any additional scouting with Hallucinate Phoenix. Is just going to end up recalling.
He recalled the Stalkers. Now this Immortal is exposed, and the War Prism is exposed to the Phoenix. I think Showtime has absolutely blundered here in a big, heavy way.
This is absolutely brutal. These Adepts have to get insane amounts of damage, which, I mean, they're already getting quite a bit of damage, but even that, I think, was still not going to be enough. He does have a significant worker lead, but He needs a way to survive, and it looks like that's going to be it.
Dark Shrine, very smart here. Your opponent does not have a robo available. If we check the units, what? Oh, there is no observer out for Classic.
Yeah.
This is actually a really big deal.
And he lost the robo. So.
Yes, he lost the robo, doesn't have an observer already out. He does have a Stargate, so potential for getting an Oracle is there. But Showtime, those last few engagements were not good for him at all.
He needs to buy some time, though. That Dark Shrine is only halfway finished right now, and he does have the advantage of a one-base setup, and he's going to go for a hidden base on the bottom right, which I don't hate either. But one-base setup, he's going to be losing some of the infrastructure over here again, but this keeps him alive at least. And it's going to be very difficult for Classic to actually bust up this ramp.
It is. And Classic very good with the force fields here. Just pinching out 2, getting the snipe on one of those Stalkers, taking out some of the infrastructure, and yet again. And is there no Warp Prism here for Showtime?
No,
it doesn't look like it is,
yeah,
and it's in the north still, just doing nothing at all, so not helping with the fight. I mean, there is the potential here.
For the DT warping, right?
DT warping in the main. That is what Showtime is banking on right here, right now. Maybe one in defense, 2 in the main. That would be absolutely gorgeous from him. That looks like exactly what he's going to go for. 1 in the main, 1 in his opponent's main. This is going to get brutal. Oracle on the way. I believe it's getting chrono boosted here because Classic must have spotted something, and boom. Oh, he's going to start going for the pylons.
Yeah, and the Oracle is getting chrono boosted out. We're going to keep an eye out on that. Force Field keeping the DT from actually doing damage to the army. Does the Oracle make its way out? No, the pylon got depowered. You can see in the production. And another pylon is going to be able to finish up over here. And the third pylon should secure this. A lot of lost mining time there, but Classic is forced back. And remember, he had lost so many workers earlier on. This is going to be a very awkward position for him now.
He even gets an observer out, so rebuilt a robo somewhere in the main base. He's the one that has his natural at a much safer location, and honestly, that was a lot of chaos, but Classic handled that about as good as he could. I like the fact that he went for the pylon, but then I think he should have gone for probes immediately after. He spent quite a bit of time hitting that Stargate and stuff, and now, with that proxy nexus on the map, obviously you can recall a bunch of probes over to it. He's even taken a third, so he does recall a bunch of probes. But we look at
this is dangerous.
The overall supply here, much scarier for Classic, and Classic knows that. And he is not going to take any time at all just navigating across the map.
I almost don't hate the fact that Showtime, despite taking a nexus at that natural, is just keeping his army in the main. He knows that if he just loses his army at that natural trying to defend this, the game is just straight up over. But at least with this, he can say, no, look, I'm trying to take my nexus. You maybe think that I'm still on one base and maybe misread the situation in the game. And I can try and find some additional way to come back in this game before you can really realize what's actually happening.
Absolutely. I mean, Classic's doing very good with the force fields that he's been using this game. He's been so good about it. Now, Classic, in his mind, is he locked in enough to know, like, hey, you wouldn't be comfortable here sitting on 2 bases with the amount of damage you've done. Like, I would not be surprised if he starts scouting around, just being like, hold on a minute, this is way too comfortable for me right now. If you don't have a natural.
Ben, you know, there's a moment that might be coming up over here just because the Warp Prism has been staying so close to the edge to get that high ground vision. Blink is about to finish up. The Stalkers are getting ready. I think he's going to try and go for the Blink. The surprise Blink. I don't even think there's a lot of force field energy. Oh, the Warp Prism pulls back. Wow, Classic just has the absolute perfect read on the timing of when that was about to get dangerous.
And look at this from Classic. He is scouting. He is scouting for a proxy nexus. So Classic is so locked in right now. The fact that he moved away when he did, scouts his space, and it's like, oh, well, I have a new target of choice. I'm going to start moving over there. Now, his Twilight Council is only just finishing now, so micro advantage-wise, definitely in Showtime's favor. But army-wise, he is 20 army behind here, and he's already at this nexus.
That's going to be really problematic because Showtime is trying to just go for the base trade-ish strategy, but it's so difficult when your opponent can just recall a lot of their army back home. Warp Prism also getting recalled. One Immortal does get picked off over here, and Showtime, there was maybe a moment where you look at that army that gets recalled and say, can I just blink on it and try and snipe off units? Not enough. So picks off the Oracle. That is a nice pick-off.
Look at the Warp Prism micro. Even though he doesn't have Blink, he's utilizing Blink with that Warp Prism. The force fields were nice from Showtime, but look at this. Classic is hunting down Blink Stalkers with non-Blink, and unfortunately for that Archon, it's a tank, but against Stalkers, it's going to be rough. I mean, there's not really any micro potential for Showtime with that Archon.
Yeah, and the Archon looks like it is going to end up falling. The probes being pulled off the line from the hidden base earlier on. and Showtime is getting cornered here in game number 2 on ley lines. Classic gonna be doing his little victory dance around these probes as he picks them off one by one, and Showtime honestly maybe just regrouping himself before a potential game 3 here.
It's rough, it's rough. Classic so far has played not just good, he's played incredibly smart with a lot of the plays that he's been doing. Knowing when to back off has been key for him, and Showtime, you see, doing a sigh there, and I'm not surprised. He knows that he's so incredibly dead this game. Just kind of letting it sink in a little bit.
I honestly, Ben, I feel like Showtime, he is again an experienced veteran and everything, but it's one of these moments where I just always flash back to those moments in the past as Classic does take that game, but I feel like it's one of those sometimes the mental blocks that you can face where you face off against those top-notch players where you're like, okay, this is the best players in the world. Showtime, we know he's capable of taking on these players. He's actually shown some really close, great games so far, even in this particular series, but I'm just a little bit worried heading into game number 3 of that mental with just that elongated layover into it.
I've said this before about Showtime, even during the days that we've been here. Showtime is incredibly consistent against players that he's better than. Like he's one of these guys that very rarely does he get upset. When he does, we all talk about it because it happens so irregularly. But when it comes to playing against a player that's potentially better than him, upsets are possible. But I do believe there's something in Showtime's mind that just gets to him a little bit, because I don't want to call him a joker. I know I've mentioned the word choke time, but I feel that he's incredibly good, and he absolutely can do it. He just has to start believing in himself, because there are a few moves here where it's like his army's moving out across the map, but then there's 2 sentries for whatever reason, which are trailing pretty hard, and Classic just catches them. And then it's like, oh damn, I have to recall my 4 Stalkers, I drop the Immortal in the main, I lose the Immortal to the Phoenix, and then it's like, okay, I've got a Warp Prism on the other side of the map, I can't use it to defend. It was like a domino effect of tragedy, just going absolutely catastrophically wrong for him. So whatever is happening, he has to just rein it in, because Classic, he is playing incredibly smart, but it's not something that you can't do, Showtime. Like, if I was his coach in his corner, these are things I would be telling him.
Yeah, and I really hope he's able to kind of think it. There's, the times where I feel like every single StarCraft player has had these moments where there's times where you are sitting in a game that you've already lost because you're getting into a worse and worse mental state. And then there's times where I think the pro players, they sit in it in a best of 5 or something because they're using that time to regroup. I really hope he was able to try and use it for the latter, not the former. As we head into game number 3, this is now going to be match point, elimination match, and also a match where potentially one of the players is going to advance to the playoffs. Up here in the top right-hand side of Ultra Love, we have the red Protoss player from Team Sentinels. He is Showtime.
And spawning over in the bottom left-hand side, as our blue Protoss, representing Virtus Pro, it is Classic.
I feel like you touched on such a great point there earlier, Ben, because I feel like the moments that we've seen these games run away from Showtime, it was, like I said, individual moments. It wasn't like some grand scheme of over the course of 5 minutes, he gradually fell behind or something. It's always like these small, singular moments, and then things just start to snowball after that. And I feel like it's so easy to say, you just have to play super stable, but it's one of those things where it's like, that is what Showtime is really good at. He just has to be able to find it in himself to play that kind of best version of himself. Again, it's all just like really nice and easy to say. It's nice words to say. Doing it is such an unbelievably difficult skill to acquire.
If there is one map where I do believe Showtime does have it absolutely in him to do something very much in his comfort zone, it's a map like this, where you've got a ramp for your natural, 1 gate expand, because there is not many people on the planet that have played against a guy that is as good as Max Pax at this particular thing as Showtime has. So if he is to manage the reverse, trying to make the comeback, it is on a map like this, in a strategy choice like this, where you and your opponent are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah. Classic yet to actually go for any kind of pylon block over here, but he is just keeping that probe around and ready to do it if need be, but sees that the Stargate just goes up there for Showtime. It is in fact still going to just be relatively mirrored builds.
very mirrored builds at this
Yeah.
point. Like same probe counts, both waiting for that probe to have the opportunity to put down the Nexus. Showtime being a tiny bit ahead on multiple things here, throwing down the Nexus, getting the Stargate a tiny bit earlier. And I think this is Showtime's playground now. Like if there is a game for him to win, it is this one. And again, not throwing any shade at Showtime. He absolutely, like if you said Showtime won this series 3-2, people would be surprised, but it wouldn't be out of the realm of like
That would
possibility.
not be a hot take.
No, it really wouldn't. Classic is an overwhelmingly good Protoss right now. Overwhelmingly, arguably the best in the world, so it's never going to be easy. But Showtime absolutely can do it here.
Adept's going to be fighting versus Zealot. Again, just mirrored setup over here on Showtime's side, but the Phoenix is already out over here, so potentially a point where Showtime could have picked up something. That's kind of interesting. I guess he just wants to save some of the energy for now.
Yeah, save the energy.
Yeah.
Probes are vital. Stalker's vital later on. And Showtime is the one that's sticking with the Stargate play. And if there's anything I've learned from watching those European weeklies, sticking with the Stargate, once you choose, if you go into the Phoenix, you stick. The Oracle, on the other hand, if you then play catch-up on the Phoenix game afterwards, you have a lot of work to do for that single Oracle. So you can see that the choices have been made by these players. This Oracle does fly in here. Most likely will just try and get done what it can. Recalled, stays alive most likely.
Yep.
Just. But that Oracle lives to see another day.
Yep, and that is going to be very important because it means that there is the continued threat there for Showtime to deal with. Dark Shrine most likely going to be falling down here in the bottom right, as that is a very far out of the way pylon. And we do see that where he's just waiting for some of that gas. Phoenix now going to be able to try and find a couple of free pickoffs wherever they can. So this is where you try and take advantage of the Phoenix. Oracle can maybe snag a couple of probe kills. The Phoenix can run it and consistently find little bits and pieces of damage, whether it be probes or even an Adept or so.
Ooh, I think he recalled back home with those Phoenix and flew right past it like 2 ships in the night. Just missed it. Now, this Oracle, if it does meet the Phoenix, it can't get out of there.
Yeah.
So that Oracle lived a good life, but does no longer have true scouting vision and DTs on both sides. I tell you what, I talked about these players being similar to one another. I didn't think they were going to be similar on the aggressive aspect, you know?
I truly did not expect this, but I really do think you're absolutely on point there, Ben. The Phoenix do make a big difference in this as well, because I think that they can get slightly better scouting by consistently diving in more and more. I wonder if there's going to be a point where Showtime does sort of recognize, okay, well, where is your extra gas going? You didn't make any of the Phoenix that I did. You don't exactly have a lot more units compared to me. He's going to see the Blink is finishing up pretty soon over here, so that will maybe reveal something, but
no Robo.
Yeah.
Like, seeing no Robo really should start sending off alarm bells. And it's the same thing for Classic here. He's scouting, and it's like, hold on a minute. The gas doesn't add up. I've only seen 3 Phoenix. I don't see any more either that's trying to deny my scouting.
Neither. Okay, well, Classic is actually finally reacting now. He is getting a Robo. And that is going to be an interestingly timed Robo because the DCs are already on their way. Stalker is now making their way aggressively forward onto Showtime's side of the map. He finds that there really isn't that much to defend over here. The Phoenix are also not involved in this. And so Showtime has to try and get as much damage done to try and break through that wall as possible, but also defend back at home. He's only lost 4 workers so far, but this is such a frustrating push to deal with right now.
It really is, but the DTs, they are getting into that natural of his opponent. In fact, he switched building here, went for the Stargate instead. Stops an Oracle from being made. I mean, the Robo's
not done yet.
I think this is Showtime getting a lot of damage done here, and you see this. He's trying to make a little cage for that Robo in the south. I mean, it is spotted by Showtime. He knows it's down there, but the damage, he wants to deal a lot of eco damage with this, and I mean, he is dealing with the aggression in his side with a DT. Robo is forcing an Observer, but I think the damage is being done.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Honestly, at this point, you know what? I think if Showtime actually just gets an Oracle out with his own Stargate, he could Revelation the Observer and kill with the Phoenix. I think that would just 100% secure the game at this point.
Absolutely, and how many DTs are up for both sides here? I mean, Showtime's DTs can get killed by the DTs here, given that they don't have vision, and there is an Observer here, right here in the mix. But Classic's economy, make no mistake, even using the probes out here to deal with. This is so funny.
This is a wild game.
The Stargate's dead. The Stargate's dead. He's got no detection available. There's no Robo either.
He does have the probe, I think. Does he still have the probe at the bottom right? Oh, he just looked there. Yes, he's actually going to start building some stuff over there. And I think it's just a pylon for the moment.
Look at the supplies. They're actually getting neck and neck here.
Yeah, it's super close.
I think Classic's doing it. Even though being so far behind, now making a robo, he's actually not mining at all Showtime. He's got like such a little amount. Oh my goodness.
But I think in a base trade, if Showtime is able to get up the Observer...
No, Ravi. No? This is Classic. He's done it. I think he's really done it. I mean, there's no way for Showtime to mine and get out of this horrible situation. I mean, these Phoenix, there's only 3 of them. That is such a little amount to do something with. And right now, Classic, he's the one mining.
Yeah.
He's the one with
Every
vision.
second that goes by, it is getting worse and worse for Showtime. The only possible thing I can even think of is that just the Phoenix are going to just immediately kill any observers as soon as he has vision of them. If Showtime is able to utilize that, there will be no detection for Classic.
He has just enough gas, right, for an observer, I believe.
And it means no Nexus if he makes the observer.
I mean, he's
going to just dive in.
He is busting through here. The Phoenix do a good job of lifting up the bad boys. And you are right that he can snipe an observer if he brings out his own, but GG. Classic takes it 3-0. And I tell you what, that really did look like that was going to be Showtime's game, but the lack of detection. Classic was so good about being like, hey, where's your gas? It's not in this, it's not in that. I've used a lot of gas, I'm also going for DTs, and he really locked in there and was like, hold on a minute, I've got to get a robo out in this situation. Like, this is dreadful for me. And even though he was down to like 8 probes or something at some point, something ridiculous, managing to have that vision and that know-it-all or know-with-all to be able to be like, okay, where is your economy going into? Very smart play out of Classic, and honestly, kind of one that makes me very sad for Showtime in that last game. So I really thought that he had the edge there, but just not thinking about, or not being just aware at the time about the possibility of DTs. Well played by Classic.
Really well played there by Classic. Heartbreaking, I think, for Showtime, but I mean, we are, of course, going to have seen a really great PvP earlier on in the tournament for Showtime. We saw, even in this series, that Showtime is still capable of these really close, amazing games. Just those singular moments still just falling away in those first 2 games, as in this game, that moment, losing the Warp Prism, losing the Adepts on the low ground and everything else, really, really tough.
It's sickeningly tough here, and very soon we will get to hear from the man himself. And so far, everything I've heard out of Classic's mouth has been confidence, confidence, confidence right from the get-go. And after losing to Serral 3-0 but beating Showtime 3-0, he's got to be feeling it right now, Ravi.
Yeah, I think he absolutely is going to be feeling it right now. And man, what a hard-fought victory here, Ben.
It was super hard fought, man. Like they were both playing very similar games, similar styles. I mean, the first game with the proxy robo from Classic, then the double proxy robo out of both of them. Super darn cool. But Classic, he is the Iceman when it comes to Protoss. I really feel he is.
I mean, it's actually really cool when you get to see some of these Protoss players like a Showtime or a Classic, and they're able to make those deep runs in these kind of big global events. It's just really heartening, I think, as a Protoss player as well. But guys, we are going to hear from the man himself over on the stage.
Hello, everyone. I am Steadfast, and I'm joined by the victorious Classic. I don't know about y'all, but I got some nerd chills after that series. First things first, congratulations. That was an incredible series. So clutch in games 2 and 3. How do you possibly make the reads that you do and stay calm and focused during a crazy set of games like that?
일단 김도서 승리 축하드리고요. 정말 대단한 경기였습니다. 일단 2세트, 3세트 때 진짜 그렇게 어려운 상황 속에서도 이렇게 침착함을 유지하고 이렇게 역전을 해낼 수 있었던 좀 이유가 무엇인지 좀 궁금합니다.
오늘 게임하면서 좀 컨디션이 좋다라고 느꼈고 사실 푸푸전을 굉장히 푸푸전이 누구한테도 질 수 있고 누구한테나 이길 수 있는 종족전이다 보니까 긴장을 많이 하고 왔는데 생각보다 컨디션이 좋아가지고 이긴 것 같습니다.
Well, I thought myself pretty good in shape today, and that being said, PvP is anybody's game, so I think being in shape and trying to be in my best form, actually helped me a lot.
Yeah, you were absolutely in your best form today, and whoever you go up against in the round of 8 is going to have a lot to fear. With that being said, of the 4 players you could possibly play, who would you like to face the most and who would you like to face the least in the round of 8?
일단 8강에 올라올 선수들이 진짜 김도호 선수를 좀 많이 이 경기를 보고 좀 두려워할 것 같은데 김도호 선수께서는 본인 스스로 좀 어떤 상대를 만나고 싶고 어떤 상대를 좀 피하고 싶은 상대가 있는지 궁금합니다.
사실 생각을 안 해봤는데 일단 8강이 목표였어가지고 그래도 테란전이 자신 있기 때문에 뭐 클램이나 성주를 만나서 또 성주는 지난 달라스에서 제가 졌거든요. 이번에 복수하고 싶습니다.
Yeah, speaking of that, I haven't really thought of that because actually my initial goal was being in the playoffs. But that being said, I really feel confident in PVT right now. So I want to face either Clem or Maru, and especially Maru because I have lost to him in Dallas. So I want to get a revenge.
I like that. That is a stone cold killer right there. I'm afraid of, the guy who beat me in the last offline tournament. I'm afraid of the guy who won the world championship. No, feed them to me. I want their keys. And I got some interesting news for you because it is going to be Clem as your round of 8 opponent. How do you feel about that now that you know that it's Clem?
이제 마침 또 클램과 이제 조성주 선수를 만나고 싶다고 하셨기 때문에 마침 또 소식이 들어왔거든요. 8강 대진이 이제 클램 선수와의 대진이 성사가 됐다고 하는데 만나고 싶은 상대를 일단 만나셨는데 좀 어떠신가요?
사실 자신감을 비추려고 그렇게 말한 것도 있는데 진짜 이렇게 될 줄 몰랐고 테란전에 자신 있지만 또 클램 선수가 워낙 잘하다 보니까 안 그래도 최근에 세랄 선수와 최고의 선수인 세랄 선수와 해서 이렇게 처참하게 졌는데 또 지난 시즌 챔피언을 만나게 돼서 지금 굉장히 걱정스럽지만 그래도 최선을 다해서 꼭 이길 수 있도록 해보겠습니다.
Well, I kind of mentioned Clem because I was trying to show up my confidence. So yeah, I'm actually hearing that. Actually, it kind of worries me because I actually lost to Cyril, one of the best players in the world, in a landslide, and I have to face another great player, which is also a last year's champion, Clem. So I'm still confident on my PBT, but still, I'll do my best. I'm still worried, but I'll have to give my all for that.
Well, we know that you'll give it your all. I do want to talk about that Cyril series a little bit yesterday. Game 1 was obviously very, very close. Games 2 and 3 kind of got away from you a little bit. If you have to face Cyril again, how are you going to make the adjustment, do you think, / do you feel a little bit better today?
이제 혹시라도 이제 세라 선수와 다시 또 만나게 되신다면 그리고 그 경기를 좀 다시 복귀해 보신다면 좀 1세트 때는 그래도 되게 접전으로 갔는데 2, 3세트에서는 좀 아쉽게 좀 밀렸잖아요. 그래서 만약에 세라 선수를 다시 만나게 된다면 좀 어떤 점을 좀 더 보완을 할지 어떤 점을 좀 더 다시 하고 싶으실지 좀 궁금합니다.
사실 1세트는 그래도 괜찮게 한 것 같은데 2, 3세트를 제가 워낙 못했어가지고 좀 실수도 많았고 그게 제 실력이 아니라고 생각하기 때문에 최고의 컨디션을 유지해서 만약에 뭐 내일이나 만나게 되면 최고의 집중력으로 다시 하면 제가 충분히 이길 수 있다라고 생각해서 뭐 어제 진 거에 대해서 그렇게 크게 걱정하고 있지는 않습니다.
Well, I'm not that worried about loss yesterday because I'm pretty sure that my mistake had been a factor of the games 2 and 3. I think I made a lot of mistake there. So that being said, if I can manage to get in the best form as like today, and if I just manage to make a less attempt and make a less mistake, then I think I still can beat him in the future.
Well, I think you definitely can. You showed it at Dallas. I think we could see it again today or tomorrow. Well, it'd be tomorrow if it happens. But for now, we're going to send it back to the desk. I've been Steadfast. Congratulations, Classic. Very well played. And we'll see you in the round of 8.
Man, what a guy. Wants to face off against some of those strong players, and then he found he had to face Clem, and he's like, I'll just be kind of confident.
I love how open he was about that as well. It's like, yeah, I'd like to play Clem, I'd like to play Maru, that'd be great. Oh, you're actually playing Clem? oh, like you saw him smile and go like,
I appreciated that he did it for the fans.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff because it's very different saying something and appearing confident, but then actually hearing, oh yeah, you're against Clem, and then being like, oh, you know, oh, that is kind of brutal, but very nice to hear from him and that, you know, he's not too put down by his series loss against Serral, because like one thing that pro gamers go through is you experience loss, you have to get used to loss, and you have to learn how to make loss make you better. Like it's something that everybody goes through, so it's not going to throw him off whatsoever. Hearing that he's against Clem though, that's going to be a tough one on both sides. I don't think either one of them are super happy, but it's obviously going to get ridiculously tough here in the round of 8.
Yeah, I think it is going to be extremely difficult for any of their opponents. I didn't get a full on angle of his face, but I could see he was, oh.
we were just on about it, where he's like very confident, you know, just staying still, and then it's Clem, and then he's like, oh, like kind of with a smile, like, did I jinx myself here? But I love how, I was just saying to Ravi, I love how open he was, that he's like, oh yeah, maybe I was just appearing confident, you know. I love it.
Yeah, but what a set of games today here on the B stream. I said it yesterday at the end of the broadcast. I was a little bit scared. I was like, the games so far have been pretty good, but not as amazing as we'd like. Pretty much everything was a 2-0 or a 3-0. But today has absolutely delivered, I've got to say. And now we are going to take a quick look at the brackets here. As we get ready to wrap up here on the B stream for, well, just about all of it, looking at this Group A, Demu, tell me, that I couldn't have teed it up better.
I mean, like, I'm actually quite surprised that Reyno Zaun went to Game 5. Because, I mean, Zaun is the kind of guy that we know can show up. Reyno played pretty damn well against Maru. But Reyno for me is very much like the Rocky of StarCraft 2.
Oh,
like he always takes a beating, but always can come out, you know? Like, I think some of his wins have been with the most map losses, but he still comes away the champion. And over there, Cure 1-0 against Rogue. I mean, I'm obviously talking about some of the matches that we haven't got to watch
here. These are the new matches.
Yeah, exactly.
But these are super cool to see. So 2 Protoss so far, Hero, Serral. Here we get to see the actual quarterfinals as well. Serral Reyna,
oh man. And the winner potentially plays Maru.
Oh, that's Hero, Solar, Clem. I tell you what, this is a bracket here. Like, the potential of Maru, Rogue, I mean, that on paper, former teammates, you know, going at it. I know they've had disastrous series in the past where it's just like, oh my goodness, that was awful. Serral Reyna, Fireworks, Hero, Solar, I believe they are good friends, and like, they are very, very well built for each other in that one's the aggressor, one's the punching bag and defender. But, you know, that can absolutely be awesome. And Classic Clem, that is potentially the best PvT and TVP on the planet right now. So that whole quarterfinal is stacked.
Yeah, I could not agree more. I'm so pumped for that PvT especially, but I really don't think you can lose out. And that is the thing about the Esports World Cup. Like, when we make it to the playoffs, it was already tough in the round of 16. The top 8, these are all tournament contenders. These are all players that they could potentially win this event. They could be world champions.
I would take it a step further, and I would say that 3 of those matchups are likely finals going into this tournament. Not just could have been, maybe, whatever. No, likely finals. Like, I would say that you could absolutely say that those would have been favored. But MVP of the day, I don't know if you guys selected it here.
I think we picked, I think I was saying Solar, just, you know.
Okay,
it was a crazy, crazy 5-game series. You showed some real resilience against everything that was done. Just honestly a phenomenal job there by Solar. Classic did well as well, but yeah.
And Steadfast, I'm very curious. You said 3 of those matchups could be finals. So which one was it that you were looking at that wouldn't be?
I think in terms of likeliness, I would say Solar Hero is the less likely finals. Not because
really?
I would say so.
Like the winner of Cure, Rogue versus Maru? I just want to know, because I felt that they were all potentially finals worthy.
No, all
you
of
had
them are
Solar
finals
being
worthy.
in the finals of Dallas, which was a big deal.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, just that's a really cool bracket. I think a lot of them are, like, for example, Raynor, Classic Clem. They absolutely got opponents they didn't want. Even Serral. I don't think he really wanted Raynor either, because there's a few people that can I almost want to say outspeed Serral, even though that's not his forte. He's so good across the board. It's just Reynor is one of those that you have to look out for. So there's a lot of upset potential here. And it's not like David versus Goliath, because at this stage, everybody's amazing. But there is a lot of potential for a lot of tears to be shed.
I really also just enjoy the fact that it's not just like, oh, all these players have an MMR number and the highest number is going to win the event. It's like the way exactly you were saying,
style clashes.
Styles clash up, the matchups and everything can really shape how this bracket's going to turn out in the end.
We actually have a very real scenario with two semi-Achilles players for their opponents that both finalists are out in the round of 8. Very possible.
That's true.
That's scary.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And you only get that at the Esports World Cup, where every match is worth so much. We are going to be wrapping things up here on the B stream. Before I do that, just want to ask any final thoughts, Fear Dragon?
Make sure you watch the rest of the event. This might be the end for this stream, but there is still a lot of StarCraft, including the playoffs starting very shortly over on that main stage. So be sure to continue to watch everything else that's going on. We may be done, but the StarCraft is not done.
Demu?
Long live StarCraft.
Hell yeah, long live StarCraft. And with that, I have been Steadfast, looking at the wrong camera. And that is going to wrap things up here on the B stream. Thank you very much. Check out the rest of the tournament. I know I will. Love y'all.
Taking over control, can you feel it? Our body's moving closer, is it real? Trying to lose myself on the night shift, outside here. Baby, can you tell me, can we try it? I'm ready to move for the night, yeah. Trying to lose myself on the night shift, outside here. Taking over control, can you feel